Good. Yay. Things are thinging. Let's do some double checking. We should be fine. Stuff exploded, but stuff stopped exploding, so hopefully we're good. Let's check here. Bam. Alright, we're good here. The YouTube is tubing it. There we go. Bam, 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 bam. Alrighty, great. I can hide you. We don't need you anymore. Because no joke, was literally about to do the thing that I made a post about yesterday. And like a lightning bolt that struck me, like something was just screaming at me. Just absolute yelling, just full of force, full of fury. Talk about Black Ops 2. And you know what? I think I will. So, we'll save that for tomorrow. Don't worry, I do want to do it. So we'll save what I was planning on doing for tomorrow. I really want to talk about Black Ops 2 right now for some reason. I don't know why. Like, genuinely, I feel like I got hit with, like, a fucking, like, thought beam. And now brain is just like, talk about Black Ops 2. Do it. Talk about it. Do it. So, that's exactly what we're gonna do. And I decided the best place to start, for no particular reason whatsoever, are the maps. So here we go. Here are all the multiplayer maps of Black Ops 2. Let's talk about them. There may or may not be hurt feelings here. I doubt it, because I'm gonna be real. With a game like Black Ops 2, with the maps as good as they are, it is genuinely, like, Black Ops 2's worst map is way better than, like, a lot of Infinity Ward's, like, mid-maps. I'm being completely honest. Genuinely. Like, Black Ops 2 is just straight up one of those games where just... It is, from top to bottom, just so well designed that I will not have many complaints about the maps in this game. And to the point where someone else can make this and have it be, like, completely different, and I can be like, yeah, I get it. Oh, also, I love that background, because it's Kiefer. It's from, Caravan Heart, which is probably still my favorite Dragon Quest Monsters game, I'm gonna be real. I recently finished playing through, the Terry's Wonderland remake on 3DS. I had a lot of fun, but I fucking hate the Joker's synthesis system. I hate it. I really hate it. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about some Black Ops 2. So yeah, alrighty. Here's a tier list. GOAT tier. Pretty self-explanatory. Fantastic. The map is just good. It's like a step, just like 1 or 2 steps below GOAT tier. Good. It's good. Okay. You know, we're starting to feel it a little. You know, this one's not as consistent as the other ones. Ew. There's gonna be legitimately, like, maybe 2 maps here, if that. Genuinely, there's not gonna be that many maps in ill tier. Just straight up. This game's map design is phenomenal. Oh boy. Didn't even realize there were enough maps to justify a whole tier list. Yeah! So, how Call of Duty used to work is the base game would have, on average, like 12 to 15 maps, and then every DLC cycle would add an additional 4. Usually there's 4 DLC cycles, so that's an additional 12 maps. So yeah, in total we have, let's see, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31 maps. Very late for me. Hi, Rick Andy! Yeah, I caught a bit of the end of the Ready Drago stream. You know, I said hi. I do want those sleeves. Those sleeves are neat. We'll get to the art game tomorrow. I promise. Don't worry. I swear we will get to the art game tomorrow because I actually really want to play it. But again, something like fucking hit me right before streaming as I was setting up and was just like, talk about Black Ops 2. Do it. And I just really want to talk about Black Ops 2 for some reason. So, we're talking about Black Ops 2 right now. So yeah. I have little input here. Don't worry, I will try my damnedest to do enough explaining. Yeah, I was considering Pokemon art game. It's not a Pokemon art game, but it is an art game. It's an art game I've had for a while, but I just straight up have not played. Like, no joke, I got it for free from Fanatical like forever ago, and I never really played it, and I kind of want to play it on stream. Hey, Totodile! So yeah. Oh, what console? I'm assuming you mean the art game. It's on Steam. Again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Don't worry. We will get to it. On to biggest issue with Black Ops 2 and COD in general. 3-lane map design tends to make a lot of maps feel the same. I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about why I don't agree with that. Because, like, no joke, is it free? It has a free version available, but the one I have is paid. I think the free version is, like, a completely different thing, though. But yeah, because similar to, as we were talking about earlier, how, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype design and the restrictions that applies makes the maps, forces the developers to get creative with the design of how the maps feel and the interconnectedness. That very much applies to the Black Ops 2 maps. And I feel a lot of people forget about that because the later games got lazy with their 3-map design when Black Ops 2 was not that, and we'll talk about it. Bye, Rick Andy! Like, it is very much a situation of this got played to death and people forgot how good it was when they actually did it right. Because they did do it right for several games. Speaking of, our first map, Aftermath. Last COD that had decent maps. Black Ops 3 also had really good maps. But generally, I agree. Like, a lot of the maps in later COD games would get really, like, arrhythmic, and the flow was just not there, and it depends. Maybe I'll talk about those other games, but I have much more preference in this era of COD. This is where most of my knowledge is, so we're probably gonna stick here. But yeah, Aftermath. This map takes place in a destroyed, God, where was this? I think this was California. I think it was California. I know it's based on a campaign mission where you, like, go in the jet and you're, like, escorting the president. So yeah, here's how this is gonna work. This is the map's loading screen art, and this is the layout of the map. So, let's talk about it. Now, biggest issues with this map, most of the matches devolved into one huge lane being fought over, or 2 spread out for the entire map to be utilized. Yes, we'll talk about it. So, this map is actually, no, I kind of, hold on, matter of fact, I would prefer if I could have this open somewhere else. That way, it will be easier to talk about. Hold on a moment. Need something for player scale. Don't worry, we'll get there. I will talk about it. Let's see. Is this might work? Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, because I'm using the function available in in OBS, and I think what I would rather have instead is this. Hot take, BO1 has better maps than BO2. I disagree for several reasons. Again, we'll get to it as we talk about this. Because I will be able to explain a lot of what makes this map design good, and why it's good, and why people like it, and why people have hated it as the years have gone on, because they've gotten lazy with it. Like I said, we're getting there. Alrighty, Aftermath. Because now I can click this. Yeah, I can click this, and then I can do this. Bam. But you can still see my map. There we go. Now we can get to doing some explaining. Yeah. Alrighty, Aftermath. So, let's talk about 3-lane design. What the fuck does that mean? Because we gotta explain that before we explain a lot of these. Well, yeah, time for some map splitting. 3-lane design is a design philosophy that the COD developers took during this period, starting with this game, and what they would do basically is they would have all of the action and all of the flow of the map, right? The general direction you want to be heading along 3 lanes of the map. In Aftermath's case, it is this top lane that goes through this destroyed building here, that goes into this parking lot. It is this middle lane that goes up this hill into this this lower area, going back up this hill. This whole section right here in the middle is lower altitude. There's upper altitude here, and some upper views here and here, with tunnels that go in between the interconnected lanes. And then there's this bottom lane right here with these destroyed fire trucks and buses, with mostly open covering aside from the big squares that you see, such as destroyed walls and cars and whatnot. So, the main reason they went with this 3-lane design is because it helps, and like I said, because they limited themselves to these 3 lanes, they basically had to get creative with how they designed those lanes in order to flow with the game that it's in. So, for this map as an example, this map has relatively clustered 3 lanes, right? You can see the 3 lanes here, but you can see, unless you're in the far backs of any of the spawns, right here and right here, there is a lot of close quarters action here, right? So, this map is very cramped. Yes, because of the 3-lane design, there are various ways that they can express player play patterns through how they adjust the interconnectedness of the lanes, through altitude, through cover, through vantage points, etc. So, one team spawns here, the other team spawns here, and then the various game... I'm gonna try my hardest not to talk about the various interconnected things about the various game modes, because there's a bunch that could go on here. Like hard point spawns that can start here, here, inside here, etc. Right? We're looking at the map as a whole and not trying to pigeonhole it because of specific maps. Every map kind of had a no man's land as well. Yes, because of... Yeah, domination, I think, is, like, the best general approach because of how much of the maps, like, there's multiple positions that warrant attacking and defending, and it's not just multiple people brum rushing a specific area. You know, there's various use of flank routes and whatnot. So, Aftermath. This section right here and right here, there are indoor areas in here that leads to this vantage point on the road below, and same here with the road below right here. You can go inside this bus to look this way. There's not really a reason why you would want to, but you can. Likewise, the central area here, typically where B flag would be, as I mentioned, there is multiple ways through. There is an inner area here that can connect here that leads either into this upper area, this inside area here, or that can go over this area and lead you around here to go around and flank from this side. This central area right here doesn't do that, but as you might be able to tell, from the hill, as you climb up, you can go up and around and connect it via that way. surprised you don't have the multiplayer music on loop. I'm going with the typical shuffle like I would, because Black Ops 2 music is weird with copyright. Some songs are fine, some aren't. I recently tried my hardest to, like, go through and, like, remove all the songs that have, like, random-ass copyright claims. Just for, you know, my sanity. So, yeah. Don't worry, they'll pop up. Because otherwise, I would just have Adrenaline on loop 24/7. Which, don't get it twisted, I love Adrenaline, but I don't want to be hearing it all the time. So, yeah. As you're in this section right here, which is where B flag would be in domination, you are very vulnerable. As mentioned, there's vantage points here, here. You could get shot from either sides of the tunnels. You could get shot from the top of the hills. Dude, you can just have grenades thrown at you from here. Not to mention, this area is completely open and does not have any overhead cover. So that means various kill streaks can also, like, close and cut you off here, which is pretty gross. Likewise, though, because of the 3-lane design, some kill streaks end up being and feeling a lot better in Black Ops 2 than they do in a lot of other ones. Sentry Guns and Guardians are really good in Black Ops 2 because of the 3-lane design, right? Forcing your opponents to adapt and overcome and maybe force different flank routes in order to change, or maybe just have things to deal with the ways that you have certain ways choked off. Again, are nice, like, organic ways to funnel the player. That's the main thing about 3-lane design that's good, right? It is an organic way to funnel the player into movement. Because Call of Duty is at its best when everyone is moving for a particular reason. Everyone complains about campers. No one likes game design and gameplay that forces players to sit still, right? And that's what 3-lane design is, like, one of the best things at, right? It forces movement. Which is why even this map, which is as clustered and as cluttered as it is still 3-lane paper is fine, or 3-lane ideology is fine on paper, but troglodytes don't know how to utilize it. Again, this is mostly just because the later games have just gotten worse with it. But yeah, I don't think the game necessarily needs to force movement. See, I disagree with that solely because of the kind of game Call of Duty is. Call of Duty is a fast-paced, like, arcade shooter. Here's the thing, like, lane locking with an LMG is also perfectly acceptable, but the whole point, right, is that there is a point of contention that is forcing players to engage with that point of contention, right? It is not just a simple power position. That is a power position that is just an end-all be-all, which is what a lot of the older games had a really big problem with. We're just getting people out of certain positions, right? Because of the 3-lane design, even if you have an LMG user locking down this lane or locking down B lane right here, there are still a multitude of ways and approaches in order to try and flank and engage with that player other than just run it down mid. That's why 3-lane design is good. And that's why when the later games get lazy with it, it feels really bad. Because what you just mentioned feels really bad when they don't allow you to have those multiple approaches, right? Because let's say there's an LMG right here. Let's say there's an LSAT right here looking at B flag, right? There are a multitude of ways to approach and deal with the LMG at B flag, right? You can hop up and you can counter-engage with an AR or a sniper or even your own LMG right here. You can try and sneak through going right up here and approach from side flank, right? You can do the same from here. You can do the same from middle. You can do the same from this middle, right? Again, there are if you want to, you can go around the entire flank route, right? You can try and engage with the entire opposite ends and approach from behind in order to catch them from just straight up, just behind flank. That's why 3-lane design is good, right? Oh, wait, also, hold on, let me go find the, this song. Thank you, OC Remix. This is, Drowning My Lives Away. Boop, boop. Hold on. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. And bam! Alright, there we go. Boop. Alrighty. I played on hardcore, so maps play drastically different than how they do on core. Like, it's a night and day difference. Yeah, but that's hardcore in general. Like, see, the problem with trying to, like, look at these maps in the lens of hardcore is that, like, every map when looked at in the lens of hardcore is, like, not gonna lie, gonna feel a lot worse because of how hardcore is. Players inherently will try to play more safe and more passive because players play afraid. Right? Which is not, at that point, not the map's fault anymore. It's just a symptom of the game, right? That is just the game mode you are playing. Which, I'm glad you brought that up. I will be talking about these in core and not hardcore. Because, yeah, like, exactly what we're bringing up. Like, if you look at these in the lens of hardcore, like most, like, let's be real. Is there a good map in hardcore? Nothing ever felt the same since hardcore World at War. Yeah, hardcore World at War is, like, also funky, because, like, that's when we still had Juggernaut. It's extra funny, because the hardcore in Black Ops 2 actually had, like, different health values than hardcore in the rest of the series, and, like, it kind of helped. I would kill you up with a sniper in a bush. So yeah, like I said, we're looking at these in the lens of core. And yeah, Aftermath. Aftermath is very often considered Black Ops 2's worst launch map. And I agree that it is not the greatest. But I don't think it's the worst. I still think the capability of the map is still there. Even the hardcore Executioner was still cheeks. Yeah, that gun is impressively bad. I should maybe do weapons. Maybe another day, because I was considering it. Alrighty. The most rage quitty of the original maps. I think that's a good term, yes. I think that is a very good term. Here's the thing, because, like, and the main reason I bring this up, would you rather play on Aftermath or Wasteland from Modern Warfare 2? Or Stonehaven from Ghost? Wasteland. This man is a sadist. This man genuinely just wants wide open chaos. This man wants everyone to suffer. Never mind. See, this is why... just like a stun player! I don't play this game to have fun, I play this game to make sure everyone else doesn't have fun! Oh, Lord. But yeah, I'm reserving the ew tier specifically for maps that I genuinely think are, like, worst in series. And I genuinely do not think Aftermath is among Call of Duty's worst. I think there are several maps that are worse than Aftermath. I think there's one in this game that I feel is is honestly worse than that. At least one. Like I said, maybe two. There's not going to be many things in the ew tier. Alright. Alright, if I hit this, what happens here on the feed? I figured that would happen. Damn. Alright. Can I reset? Yes! Alright. Bam. Up next, Cargo. Worst franchise map is Shipment. I can see it. Cause you know what's the funniest part about Shipment? The funniest part about Shipment is that, like, Ghost unironically had the best version of Shipment, and they never remade the Ghost version of Shipment. Because the Ghost version of Shipment added an outside ring instead of just having the chaos in the center that allowed for more flanking, and they never did it again. Because everyone hated Ghost. So, like, everyone just automatically assumed that everything Ghost did was bad. Which, believe it or not, the DLC maps of Ghost are unironically some of the best maps in the series. The base maps of Ghost are some of the worst, but the DLC maps of Ghost were unironically really good. Including the Shipment remake, Showtime. Showtime is unironically, like, one of the best, like, map remakes ever. Because it fixed, like, basically every problem about Shipment. And they just never did it again. Wish you had enough Halo knowledge to go over those maps. Yeah, I just have never played Halo, basically. I played Halo 3 for, like, an hour. That's it. Halo just never interested me. But enough about Halo. We're here to talk about Cargo. Bam. Actually, matter of fact, yeah, I can just do this. I could do that. Yeah. Alright, Cargo. So, Cargo is funny and hardcore. I think this map is just funny in general. So, these spawns are right here and right here. These are pretty good spawns. If you're wondering where the lanes are, and for some of these, this is what I mean when I talk about good 3-lane map design. Like, some of the maps might be, like, so, like, foreign that you might not actually be able to immediately, like, your brain might not connect where the 3 lanes are. But the 3 lanes in this map, rather than being a straight line like they were in Aftermath, or more like semicircles. There's this top lane here that goes through this building into this back lot, into this building being a 2-story building with an overview over here and a window over here, along with a spot where you can climb up from this window and get in that way, along with a bottom area that leads into the middle. So there's this lane right here. There's this bottom lane right here. There's this back building that you can enter. There's this semi-truck that you can enter with a little bit of cover to peek from this angle. And that leads into this angle. With a fun little section right here with this building. This section right here is walkable. So you can go around the building right here to avoid direct confrontation from this mid lane in order to try and flank from out here. Which is very cool. And then the center area. Now you might think that this map looks rather congested, but this area right here and right here, along with some section right here, are actually climbable storage crates. There's a storage crate here that leads to this area. There's a storage crate here that leads to this area where you can overview from B flag of it about this cone right here, along with an opposing lane right here that does pretty much the exact same thing. There is from that same uprise, you can go into this area and then overview this bottom lane with contention from this top lane right here, right? So there's actually a lot of interactable, climbable area right here, and right here. Now, mind you, this map is limited to 2 stories, right? So there's not, like, multiple stories. I will mention if a map has multiple stories or not. So there is ground floor and then 1 floor above on the storage containers and in this building over here. On top of that, this middle area right here has a crane that is lifting 3 storage crates repeatedly in various functions. If you look carefully enough, you can see the rectangles where the crates can be dropped and lifted. So, sometimes when you're here, you can have this crate right here and this crate right here, which blocks off view from this angle and this angle, but then every other angle is clear here. Sometimes you can have this angle, which blocks off, you know, obviously the counterplays from this lane, so on and so forth. There can be a variety of crate locations that will block off lines of sight. But one of the most devastating being the ones right here and here that will block off the power positions from up here and up here, right? Letting you approach from mid a lot easier and potential flanks from here and here a lot better. As mentioned, there are definitely a lot of funny no man's lands with a lot of these maps. For no real reason, I might add. Some maps utilize them. Like, this entire back section right here is actually, like, not that walkable. This area looks a lot bigger than it is because of, when you play this map in the strike mission in the campaign. You're here in the strike mission in the campaign, but for multiplayer, you don't go any further than this building, really. So yeah, this map has good flank routes for close range, good power positions for long range, good areas for mid-range. That's another aspect of, like, well-designed 3-lane structure that I really enjoy. Every weapon type has its places and positions where it feels really good, right? When the 3-lane structure is done at its best, no weapon feels like it's a bad idea. And Cargo is a fantastic map at showing that. There are multiple power positions that show off very good, very strong key positions because of how the maps, except the Executioner, he doesn't count, that show off where which is like one of the best things about Black Ops 2, where every weapon genuinely feels good. Like, the funny thing about Black Ops 2 is because of the weapon balance, like, I'm gonna be real, and this might sound like heretical. I don't think there's S-tier weapons in Black Ops 2, but I also don't think there's, like, multiple F-tier. I think the Executioner is genuinely the only F-tier weapon. Because the best weapons are not so good that they're, like, dominating like they are in previous games, right? Which is a big problem with, like, the Modern Warfare series. Like, I think that this is, like, especially bad in Modern Warfare 3, because Modern Warfare 3's weapon balance was, like, a step below Modern Warfare 2's, where everything was ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. It's the most safe, but we absolutely do not mean that in a derogatory way. We mean that in the best way possible, because you can utilize anything you want and have it be effective as long as you know how to play to its strengths properly. So yeah, I think Cargo is fantastic. I genuinely think it is a really good. They were scared of buffing them too much, like MW2 had to make them better than the back off one dog shit. I think it's more like, by that point, they finally understood and, like, nailed down their design. I think, like, everyone in Black Ops 2 was firing off on all cylinders. They learned from their mistakes from World at War, they learned from their mistakes from Black Ops 1, and they learned from the mistakes that their sister company was doing with the Modern Warfare series. I think it finally clicked, and, like, everything got put together in the best way possible. So yeah, Cargo is fantastic. Cargo is a great map. I wonder if Vonderhaar still gets harassed about the DSR-50. Oh, Lord. You know what's the worst part? That's, like, the first time that ever happened to, like, a Call of Duty developer. But no joke, like, the Mortal Kombat fans do that all the fucking time, and it makes me wonder what the hell is wrong with them. So yeah, I think because I zoomed in instead of doing that, yes, that is exactly what I wanted. Oh god, I love this song! Obligatory, please Vanillaware, add your fucking games to Steam! I want to play Muramasa in HD! I want to play Dragon's Crown with my friends on Steam! I want nude Amazon mods on the Steam Workshop! Wait. Destiny fans of the Spatachio game from SpongeBob. Oh, Lord. Alright, Carrier! See, I really appreciate having these splash arts here, because it helps, like, emphasize, like, a good visual identity for the map. Which is another aspect of, oh yeah, hold on. That's another aspect of these maps I have not mentioned, but I feel the need to mention right now. Color! Black Ops 2 is a surprisingly colorful and varied game visually, which is another thing that a lot of the Call of Duty struggle with. Like, the colors in Black Ops 2 are all very solid, they pop, they're strong, but none of them are out of place. All the colors are nice and vibrant, but sensical. Right? When there's dullness, there's important dullness, and when there's brightness, there's important brightness. Oh yeah, Treyarch absolutely is better with color than Infinity Ward. Which, yeah, I feel the need to stress that, like, because that helps so much. It helps so much with the color, because it makes picking people out from certain things way easier, because of the stronger color identity that a lot of things have. Which, I feel the need to mention that. Alright, Carrier. Carrier, as you can see, is a very interesting, relatively open... So many different devs. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's one of the biggest issues with Call of Duty nowadays. Like, there's too many cooks in the studio, especially because Raven basically never gets a break. Like, Raven is basically non-stop making the multiplayer for every fucking Call of Duty. And, like, they need a fucking break, dude. Like, they're supposed to be a support and auxiliary company, but they've been doing the multiplayer forever. Give Raven a break, please. Ah! So let me zoom out just a little bit. Let's make X-Men Legends again. Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Carrier. First things first, where are the 3 lanes? I think that's always a good place to start with. So, we have this right here is one spawn point. This one right here is another spawn point. You have this lane here, so from this spawn point, there's a nice back area that leads to a back view in order to get around this gigantic middle lane. This gigantic middle lane will be the thing that is contested the most. It is generally the most open, but still relatively splattered, as you can tell from the various cargo planes that are destroyed, or the various planes that are destroyed on it. So, there's good spots for cover in that middle lane, but we'll get to it. There's an indoor area here with a door here and an exit door here that lets you exit from here. There's this section right here, which are a bunch of climbable crates that gives you a good relative second story view onto this area right here, which is very important. We should establish how spawns flip, which is something FPSs tend to do, for those who don't know. Good idea. So, let me finish explaining the lanes, and yeah, I will explain spawns in a moment. I don't know all the spawns by heart. I know like a couple of them, but not all of them by heart. So yeah, back to this lane. There's this box right here. There's this piece of cover right here. This is 2 stories long, so this person on this box cannot just like get you just because they're higher up. There is this bottom section right here. There's a ladder here that leads straight down and straight across to a ladder here, which can connect to this upper area right here, which is another relatively open area, which is important because this right here and this right here, these are missile silos. This one right here and this one right here are too vertical to be climbed on. But this one right here is closed enough where long-range weapons can climb up here and have a very good vantage point across a lot of the middle lane right here. So being able to flank around from bottom or flank around behind these crates and behind these crates in order to get right here is very important. When going along, we'll go around the other side. It's just right for those head glitching pieces of shit. Exactly! But we'll talk about it. There's the opposing spawn right here with a little staircase that leads up to this section right here that goes into the mid lane from this area, and this area with these 2 walls with a nice high cover in order to stop you from getting flanked from this person. There is an inside area right here. There is a roughly small area right here that leads all throughout this section right here with a staircase that leads you to a relatively big open room that connects to a doorway that leads you right back into middle lane. And there is a window that you can jump out right here to go across and outside if you want to avoid this any potential congestion that's right here, or even for flanks in order to go around back here. This area is the lowest area on the map. There's a big plane that you can jump up. There's a ladder and a pile of boxes that you can get to climb up back up here. And there's a staircase that leads right up here, along with a building that you can go in to have a vantage point over this middle area. But because of how the building is positioned, if you're quick enough, you can potentially counter-engage with the person in this building by reaching under the jet fast enough, which is very fun. Speaking of jets, there are this jet right here, which you can climb up from here, and this jet right here, which you can climb up from here. You can jump across these jets and use these jets as vantage points, which, mind you, are counterable from all the other second-story vantage points on the map, like right here, and even from a couple of the ground points, like right here. Likewise, you can jump across these jets. They're very close together. You can just run and jump very easily, and you can jump down here if you want to be on top of this jet in order to counter-engage from people here and people coming through here or here. If you want a better position to try and get people who are in this building, because you don't want to be too low, because if you're too low, then it's a bit hard to try and engage with them from that high, but if you're right here, then it's a little bit better to deal with everyone who's on these, like, secondary positions, which is very nice. And then, of course, there's the middle lane. This back section here and this back section here are relatively open. Now, middle lane has this destroyed plane right here. There is flame and smoke coming out of this plane and this plane, which is what obstructs this position right here from just completely dominating mid lane. Because you might have wondered why this position right here doesn't just automatically, like, fucking GG the rest of the lane. It's because of the literal smoke that is pouring out of this one, and then a little bit right here. And this is before newer Call of Duties where thermal could see through smoke. You're not seeing through that smoke at all with the anything. So this smoke is big obstructions, which also lets close-range players engage in the middle and try and snake through middle and try and deal with congestion in the middle in order to try and counter-engage, right? There is a lot, and I mean a lot of ways to dip, dump, and I can't speak, and dive through all these lanes, even for close-range players, right? There is a lot of congestion in this area, but it is not thoughtless, right? There is a clear flow and a clear thought design to the entry and exit points available to the mid lane here. Now, speaking of spawns, because yeah, this is important, especially for a game like Call of Duty. Call of Duty spawns work in a general sense like this. There are two main spawns for the opposing teams, and then there are a bunch of backup spawns if said main spawns are too congested, or if there are, like, enemies approaching main spawn. So, for example, like I mentioned before, main spawn for one team is right here, and for another team is right here. Now, what if your enemy team is already here, and they're already here, like, just straight up on the spawns? Well, that's where the backup spawns will kick in. There are backup spawns. Line of sight also shuts off spawns. Yes, which is important, because there's not that many of them that have, like, just clear entryways in the line of sight, because that was, like, a really big problem with a lot of the older maps. The backup spawns for this map tend to be right down here for this squad, inside the building for some, right around this corner, which is, like, opposing this viewpoint, and sometimes even in this area right here. And then for up here, it's super far back over here, and then in these backup areas here, and then right here. So, this makes it so that even if there are enemies basically everywhere, you have a number of options that you need to get through and around in order to deal with your opponents who are on your flank. Because right here and right here, these staircases have really good cover. So these let you head glitch to get people off of these positions. Likewise, right here, using this truck right here and this piece of cover right here, it is really easy to try and counter-engage from people who are right here. As an example, I'm gonna try my best to not talk too much about spawns, but I will mention the major ones, but just know there are a lot of backup spawns in case congestion happens. So yeah, carrier. I think, yes, and if backup spawns fail, they will flip, right? The backup spawns essentially have a backup system in them. I think carrier is good. There you go, right here. I like carrier. I think carrier is really nice. I think, again, there is Yeah, or if it's too flooded. Again, the spawn system is rather complex, and we'd be here for a while explaining it, which is why I don't want to, like, explain literally every spawn in every map, because we will be here for a while. Just know the maps are designed well enough that if something happens, you should be able to spawn somewhere relatively safely and have a number of options to, like, flank and counter-engage. So yeah, I think Carrier is good. I think Carrier is pretty good. Yay. Up next, Cove. So Cove is our first DLC map of Black Ops 2. We're going in alphabetical order in case you're wondering why this is fucking here. Don't remember this one? There's probably a reason for that. Let's talk about it. Here is the map. I hate this map. I really hate this map. I am almost certain that this is my least favorite map in Black Ops 2. Which is weird, because a lot of the DLC maps are actually really good and stand toe-to-toe with the original maps. The camping and the mitochondria. Oh, brother, you have no idea. Alrighty. Spawn points. The two general spawn points are right here and right here. Right here is a destroyed plane. This plane is angled in the weirdest fucking way. So, there is an upper point right here, and this goes downwards into this middle area, but you can climb up into the cockpit of the plane to gain a vantage point right here, which covers basically the entire mid area right here. Yes, this is where B flag is. Now, if you're wondering how the fuck to deal with that, on this end right here, from this end, is a counter viewpoint that basically only, and I do mean only, deals with the plane and basically nothing else, because it's too weird of an angle to actually deal with people who are funneling in from this side, and it's too fucking ajar to deal with people who are coming in from too close from this angle, or from people who are going around and trying to get you from this angle. This spot right here is genuinely, unironically, only good for dealing with the fucking plane. The rest of the map is relatively even. The B flag is really the only area that has a slight downwards elevation. So there's that. The entire perimeter, as you can see, is mostly walkable water, which is not too bad. It's just a whatever thing. But, this area right here is a cave, right? There's an entryway here, here, and here, but because of the cave top, it is, basically impossible to knock people out of here who are using aerial streaks. Now, you might be wondering, hey Dragonite, where are the 3 lanes on this map? You haven't mentioned where the 3 lanes on this map are. I'm glad you asked, because I don't fucking know, because this map is designed like a fucking circle. Like, there's legitimately like 2-3 lanes here. There's this bottom area here. There's this section walking through B flag, because you can go from both areas of the plane here to go here, and then there's a top lane here. But also, there's the vertical section that goes from this area where A flag is, this area that goes down B flag, and this area that goes down C flag. This map is genuinely, bizarrely fucking cluttered and clustered. Yeah, lanes, in quotes. They're playing fucking tic-tac-toe with the goddamn map here, and it feels really bad. And now you might guess, by the way the map is designed, this map is a fucking close quarters heaven. There are not many long-range sightlines on this map, because all of the long-range sightlines on this map leave you extremely open. This section, I fucking zoomed out. I forget the scroll wheel can flip the map. This section right here has like a second story. Like this area right here is below, this area right here is above. So like there's potential to, like, sneak down here, but you notice that, like, it's too tight. There's not that many interconnectedness between the lanes, so, like, there's too many hard choke points on the map. Like, this map is exclusively close quarters dominated, which is just a fucking nightmare. Like, it is shotguns and SMGs galore, and this game has really good shotguns and SMGs. And being able to deal with those shotguns and SMGs using more long-range options would have been quite nice, but the problem is, because of the water, you move too slowly as you're approaching the outwards angles to try and get people off from any of these choke points. Right? Like, you can try and flank this flag around from this rock, but the problem is, because of how much slower you're going to be moving through the water, people are going to know you're there before you even get there. It's just a fucking nightmare, and, like, it's the whole map is like that. Genuinely, the whole map is fucking like that. I hate this map. I fucking hate this map. Also, a really big problem with this map is basically designed in such a way where you can just fucking throw a frag grenade anywhere and probably get a kill. I'm not kidding. I fucking hate this map. You better have fucking trophy systems if you're playing this map. Fuck this map. I fucking hate Cove. Cove is, like, really fucking bad. Cove is bad. It looks nice. I like the general theming and the design, but bro, it says a lot where even on the fucking map, there's an Easter egg with how many fucking people, there's an Easter egg. There's a tally mark on one of the rocks that says days survived or whatever, of people just counting the days they've been stuck on this fucking island. Bro, even the people who are on this island don't want to be on this island. Fuck this map! Up next, Detour, another DLC map. So, once again, aesthetic, really good, right? Like a destroyed bridge during sunset. This is, matter of fact, is this the first destroyed bridge map? Call of Duty has done destroyed bridge as a map several times. I still think visually this one is one of the better ones. Like, the sunset hues on this map is like a really nice effect on this map. It's genuinely very pretty looking. I like this map a lot, visually. Design-wise, here is our map. I think the 3 lanes are a bit congested here, but a bit more, viewable. Spawn is here for one team, and down here for another team. So this map's kind of weird. This map's not 3 lanes, necessarily. It's more or less 2.5. So, the outer rims, new count 3 steps to the left, that is a very good description. The outer rims blend in to the mid, like, area here, but the middle lane is not really a lane because of how congested and tight it is. There's a lot of close quarters going on here. There are viewpoint windows right here and right here that, like, counter-engage from, like, the opposing areas, which is pretty nice, including being able to deal with the other window. There are holes on this map. You can fall down and die, so pay attention. It's hysterical, but just want to mention it. There are holes you can fall down and fucking die, so do be careful. Aside from that, as you might be able to tell, there are back sections to the lanes that let you flank from, instead of going in these inner lower areas. Yes, there are 2 elevations here. There's a lower area here, essentially, and then this entire middle area is on the same level, but these sections down here are lowered. There are connection points that go from this building and down here, which connects around here. You can go take the long way or try and engage in the center. Likewise, you can try and go around here. There's a big wall here that provides a nice protection from people trying to potentially engage from this angle. This is a good flank to sneak up on people who are trying to engage on B flag right here. Likewise, they have a much bigger, it's pretty symmetrical, being quite honest. This map is very, like, symmetrical, aside from, like, this area right here. There's a little building you can go in here to, like, view right here. But that's about it. You're not typically in this building too much. This map is very close, but has a couple of decent long-range sightlines, like right here, and like the opposing lanes right here and right here. I think this map is okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think I think Detour is fine. God, I love the song. Detour is okay. It's not terrible. But yeah, it's just kind of there. I don't feel there's anything necessarily special about it. Aside from the visuals, I love the visuals. So yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, this gives a nice view. This right here is the opposite spawn. You can see right here the little truck I was talking about. You can see the connection points that lead to the back lane here. You can see the window view right here that leads to the opposite window view. You can see the big girders that like block off this lane right here, and like lines of sight here to potential flanks right here. Like again, it's like it's good. It's just not amazing, you know. Up next, Dig, another DLC map. This one is a remake of a map from World at War, the name of which is forgetting me. But if you look at the map right here, if you recognize this from World at War, there you go. It's that map from World at War. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it from World at War. I have not played World at War. Just never got around to it. Alrighty. So, spawns. This map actually is pretty interesting, because the backup spawns, the loading screen for the World at War one, yeah, let me go grab that real quick, as quickly as I can. Hold on. Or I should just pull it up. It is a remake of Courtyard from World at War. Let me pull up the thingy. There we go. Boop, boop. There you go. There you go. It's a remake of Courtyard from World at War. Yeah. Here's the original map for reference. I should probably leave this up just in case I need to get to other maps and talk about them. So yeah, here's the OG, here's the remake. Honestly, you can see some of the differences. The building areas are not building areas anymore. This map is a lot more open, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. There is still cover there, don't get it twisted. The middle areas have more congestion in the middle. Those middle rings are not just big open rings for no reason. There are actual structures in there that allow for cover. Likewise, if I remember correctly, and I could totally be talking out of my ass because I remember people talking about this, but I never played World at War, so I can't verify it myself, but the central area for this map is now climbable in the Black Ops 2 version. You can climb up this section and this section. You can climb up these and be on top of them looking downwards. Now that leads you to a ton of choke points all over, because these are the highest elevated points of the map. It's only like a semi-floor. It's not that high up. But yeah, these points are climbable. The spawn points for the teams, if I remember correctly, are right here for one team and right here for another team. Likewise, B flag is smack dab in the middle of this tiny square, and it's hysterical. Meanwhile, the opposing flags, I remember correctly, are up here or up here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was up here, and then the other one was down here. Again, memory is fighting me right now with this map. Boop, boop. But yeah, this map, pretty much every solid line you see is a decent line blocking off a viewpoint. If you take a look here, these are all nice, big, solid walls. There's plenty of boxes to climb up and for cover through all the destructive walls. This right here is where B flag is. Again, you can climb up from either spawn or for some semi sections. You can climb up and get on top in order to overlook these mid areas, which is great for counter engaging, but obviously leaves you open from all the other power positions in those relative areas. So yeah, Dig. This is another map that I think, where is it? Boop. Ah! Another map that I think is okay. I don't hate it. Like, I really don't. I think it's another one that's fine, you know? Real real quick, actually, talking on this map and talking about 3-lane design, these area right here and this section right here, this section is like kind of funky looking and it's hard to tell from that screenshot. There's essentially like an overview section that's like a really good counter engage spot for this section right here, but there's no real equivalent on this end. But this end instead has a basically big counter flank that leads through here and can go around and through here in order to sneak around this section, right? So if you're trying to deal with people who are here in this area, this area, this area, this area, these areas have destroyed walls. As you can see right here, these areas have destroyed walls where you can engage from counter spots, which are pretty nice, but there are ways to get around them. Again, I think it's good. It's all right. It's not what I love, but it's good. Nice solid design. There's good close quarters engagement. There's good mid-range engagement. There's not that great long-range engagement, but it is possible, especially if you do climb up and try to use the spots like in the farthest back of these climbable areas as like power spots, because yeah, you get a lot of like map view from these sections. So it is possible. It's just a little bit harder for long-range players to try and deal with this map. Just a bit. When I say long range, I mean sniper rifles and LMGs. When I say mid-range, I mean assault rifles. When I say close range, I mean SMGs and shotguns, essentially. So yeah, dig is alright. Up next, Downhill. If I remember correctly, this one's also another remake. Another DLC map. Why do all the DLC maps have D? No, never mind. This map was original. All right, Downhill. Alrighty. As you can see here, this is during a in the French. Do they have the Alps? No, it's the Swiss Alps there. What is it in French? Whatever. French mountains. Nice French wintry mountains. Here's the map design. So, you have one team spawn back here, you have another team spawn back here. Right here there's a lot going on with this map, actually. Matter of fact, let me start with this. So yeah, here's the middle of the area. The 3 lanes go around this end, go through this ski lift building. We'll talk about the ski lift in a moment. That goes through here, and then this middle section right here. So, this map is like really fun because of the buildings. The buildings in this map are situated in like really interesting positions. So you have this mansion right here. This mansion has two stories that can lead as overview spots for here, here, and here. It's a bit easy to flank from this side because of the multiple viewpoints though, but it is a potential thing. You have the back area that leads to the ski lift. The ski lift itself having a main entryway here and then a back entryway that you can loop around in order to engage in the middle that way. Likewise, there are 2 maintenance sections in the ski lift building right here and right here that provide overview for this area and this area respectively. The 2 clear sections right here are where opposing direction ski lifts are going. One is going forward, the other one is coming back. You will die in one hit if you get hit with the ski lift while it's moving, so be careful. The amount of times I randomly won search and destroy maps because someone died to the fucking ski lift is uncountable. Do be wary of it, it does happen. Now, ski lift danger aside, they move very slowly and they're really brightly colored, so it's really obvious when they're coming. So, yeah, as you can see right here, throughout this middle area, there's a nice little, middle section right here with this big cement block that's holding up the ski lift that you can juke around. Likewise, there's this rock right here that has good, it's like a good head glitch spot, which is pretty nice. And the other buildings on the other end, there's a big, ski section over here. This big section right here is mostly a building, but there's some section you can go through here and here. But most importantly, there is this building right here. This building right here has a nice window that leads downwards, aiming downwards into B area right here. Likewise, there's a small, I think another maintenance building that does the exact same here, but with much less maneuverability, because this building only goes between this lane right here, but this building provides an additional flank route to go into this back lane. Likewise, this section right here is a rock that one must climb over, but it's also a good spot if people are engaging you from here. Also, a lot of movement you can do around with this rock, trying to like dance and dive and duck and dip and dodge around people right here in order to get around them. So yeah, this map has really good close range areas, really good mid range areas, and really good long range areas. The white and the color from all the ski things makes it really nice to pick people apart from the background, which is really nice. Like I said, there's a lot of interconnectedness between the buildings, so you can go through here, out through here, go into here, you know, loop around, deal with the people in here, so on and so forth. The maps, this is what I mean when I talk about like good 3-lane map design. The flow! I think one of the key things about good 3-lane map design is like flow. And what I mean by flow is that like the natural movement you make as you're moving through the map, right? What is it like to move through the map, right? Like how much do you actually think about moving through the map in this game? And to be quite honest, you don't. And that's a good thing. It is second nature to think about where and how you want to move, right? The maps are like so naturally situated in a way that, again, like the way you move is just like a subconscious effort. You're not thinking about like certain positions, right? You're not thinking, it is a subconscious action that you are taking as you are moving through the map. So yeah, downhill, let's see, where is it? There it is. Downhill is good. Up next, drone. Ah! Ooh, hold on. Glasses are a little dirty. Ah, my camera is recognizing my eyes. It can see. It can fight. Anyway. Alrighty. Drone. Drone is a, as you might guess by the name, a drone development facility, I think in... Fuck, I don't remember where the campaign mission takes place. But yeah, it's somewhere in, I think, Southeastern Asia. Visually, very nice, right? I love the overgrown foliage on a lot of the parts of the map. It is very pretty looking. I think that's a nice touch to show how long that this facility has been here. I think it's really neat. Here is the map design. So, you have one team spawn up here. You have another team spawn over here. Now, the 3 lanes for this one are, like, really weird. Fuck me. I wish I could, like, fuck. If anyone knows, like, a really convenient way to draw on, like, Infran view, or on Urfan view, that would be great. Because, like, there's a lot I can talk about with the way this map is. Because, like, a lot of the, I think this map, you know what's a good counterexample? A good counterexample, we were talking about, let's go back to... Yeah, so let's talk about Cargo's map, right? So Cargo is like interesting because if you take the general shape of the 3 lines, it's almost like an eyeball, right? What I mean by that is there's this lane up here, which is like a top curve. There's this lane down here, which is the bottom curve, and then there's this lane right here, which is in the middle, right? Essentially. This one is not that rigid because of how wide the middle lane is, right? Cove is essentially just a big old circle, which is why it's not great. This one is a bit too congested, right? It's like a thin line this way, a thin line this way, and then like a thin line between the two right here, right? That's a little bit congested. Dig is another like kind of weird one. This one's like a line like here, a little bit here, and then like through the middle. But then there's also like a counter line from up here and like up here and then over the top, because this area is climbable now. This map is also, downhill is another good example, right? You can go down here, you can go up here, and then through the middle, right? Another eyeball, essentially, right? Drone, and the way drone is situated is essentially like the opposite, right? Because the maps, instead of going like up and over and through, they go the opposite way, right? It goes like this way, and then this lane goes this way, and then this lane goes this way. There's a lot of empty space, for weird, like the lack of a better term, between the three maps here and drone, between the three lanes in drone. So let's talk about it a little more. So, let's start with this spawn. This spawn has a lot of natural foliage. This entire back section right here, this whole thing right here, is just straight up trees. You're not seeing past that, right? Likewise, this position right here has some bush that makes it difficult to see, but has really good long-range engagement. This right here is like long-range heaven. This right here, this B lane right here is sniper's paradise. Alright? Bro, mid lane right here, fucking love this lane. Bro, LSAT users love this lane. Right? DSR 50, love this lane. This lane right here is fucking diabolical. Especially, I think, from this position, because of how much harder it is to see people there. This lane is an elevated position, just like this one, but instead of having foliage hiding you, there's essentially like a box and like some drones that are blocking you off. Can you see it from here? Just barely, you can't see it. But bro, even in this screenshot, look, you can see right here the foliage. Like, imagine a guy like crouching and hiding behind this fucking tree, looking at basically the entire B flag is right there. Bro, you're never fucking retaking B flag. This spot is diabolical. Likewise, there's a couple of cars that can blow up, which is always fun to see cars. I like cars. You know, blowing up cars grenades is always fun. On the opposite end of spawn, we have this section right here. This section is relatively wide open. There's a truck right here. There's a entryway here. There's a mini building with 2 exits. You can go out the windows here or throughout the door here, which is pretty nice. There's a staircase and a back wall right here that protects from sightlines from B, because this section right here in B is an underground section that leads over here. There's a wall here to help counter-engage the people coming out of B, and a staircase to get upwards to the drone overview area, or you can otherwise go back here through this underground section and maybe go into this building. This building looks big, but it's essentially one big hallway that connects a few windows that watch over this back lane right here, or can reconnect into this section right up here. So those are the perimeters. Let's talk about the lanes, because this is probably the most important thing about this map. Let's save the middle lane for last. I mentioned it a little bit already. Let's talk about this right here, the drone production facility. There are a multitude of ways to get in and out of this building. There is this back wall right here. There's this staircase that leads into this upstairs section. There are spaces from this upstairs section where you can jump off. There's a big, and I do mean big, indoor section right here. Let's see, matter of fact, let me go pull that up on the fucking top of because it will help. Let's see if there are pictures of that. Damn, they don't. I would have appreciated that. So, yeah. There's a big indoor section with a double-decker staircase that goes from up here and then up here to go connect back into these upstairs areas. There is a big room right here that leads into an overview onto B, but not exactly because of the way the walls are situated. Speaking of, this section right here is climbable, and you can get here and then counter-engage from someone in this window right here. This window right here provides good counter-engage if you take B to get people who are on this trying to like re-engage from B, or people who are trying to go through this bottom lane trying to sneak under to get around. Likewise, you can climb up from here. You might notice though there's a bridge because this building right here also has a few stories. There's a bottom section mostly, and then a big section that leads upwards and inwards up to here. There's a big open bridge that you can see right here that leads into that building right there, that connects this building and this building. which is really neat. The top lane, I think, is the most unexplored lane of this map generally. I don't think it's because the lane is bad, per se. I think most people just genuinely enjoy fighting in the building more. This section right here has a funneling that leads into here, which connects to this lane via this way. A few windows to get in this way. These two big generator things back here to just, like, loop around. That leads into this back lane. This back lane having a window position that is basically just like open season right here, which is probably one of the main reasons that people don't usually engage. This side right here has advantage if you're trying to come in from this lane, which is not necessarily the same thing for the bottom lane or even the mid lane, to be quite honest. So yeah, Drone is a surprisingly dense, layered, multi-storied map. And as the years have gone along, like, I didn't really like this map at first, but I think it's a map that genuinely, like, after some playing, it just feels better. I think Drone is good. Like I said, I think the biggest issue with Drone is the fact that the top lane is rather uninhabitable, and the mid lane is like a fucking just slugfest sometimes, right? It is just a long-range slugfest for mid lane. Hell, even the building has decent long-range engagement. So, yeah, dude, mid lane building is just, like, funky, dude. Up next, Encore! Encore is another one of our DLC maps. We're finally out of the D. That took a while. I think this one was original. I'm going to double check just in case. Yes, this one was an original map. So yeah, Encore. Visually, I love this map. Dude, the spatterings of an empty stadium during a music festival is like so nice. There's so much color and liveliness like around the map, which is very neat. Onto the map design. I think this one might be a little self-explanatory. I think you can pick out where the lanes are pretty easily in this one. Although, it's not as simple as you think. Because, as you might imagine, the focal point for this map is the stage, right? The stage is the focal point. The stage being, if I recall correctly, based on the map design, yeah, because this back area is, this back section, yeah. So, the stage is right here, right? So, you have spawn here, and you have spawn here. So, hold on my back. Yeah. So, the lanes are this outer lane, and then middle lane through the stadium section. Alright, that checks out. This section right here has a staircase leading upwards. And there are indoor areas here, but most importantly probably, and I don't know if you can tell from the screenshot, the stage actually has several ways in and around it. But this is going to be important. There is a back section right here that leads from an indoor area here. You can go from this indoor area here to get to the stage from this section and be in this spot right here. Likewise, there is an underground section that can connect behind this lane over here, right? Which is pretty nice. These two big spots are, there's like some statues, there's like a music festival. There's a indoor area here. You can see that over here with the concession area, right there. This staircase right here is a central staircase that leads from this section right on over here, and then you can overlook and try to counter engage from the various angles. It's pretty nice. Likewise, as you might be able to tell in the screenshot, there are just like a lot of like vehicles made for helping setting up the concert. It's pretty neat. You can see where some of those are positioned on the map too. This map is a little bit more close-quartered, but not too heavily. There are decent long-range engagements, especially if you take control of the stage, that can help choke out. There's not as many flank routes on this map, and I'm gonna be real, I think that's what's hurting it the most for me personally. There are just a couple of, there's like, just not that many ways to zoop and zip around in this map. It can be pretty hard lockdown if you're not fortunate enough, which is pretty sad. I do love it visually though. Like visually, this is definitely one of my favorite maps. Like, oh god, it's so good. Poor Encore. Up next, Express. As you can tell in the picture, it's a big old train. There's trains on this map. Some of y'all might be familiar with this map more recently, as this map is available in Black Ops 7, and to my knowledge, plays decently in Black Ops 7. So, good job, Black Ops 7, I guess. Here is the map layout. There is this lane right here. There is this top lane right here, and then there is essentially 2 lanes in the middle. You can take the train tracks this way, or you can take the safer indoor sections right here. Now, spawns spawn on the exact opposite ends. This map looks like bacon. I'm gonna eat it. Spawn. Alright, so, before I talk about anything else, I need to mention it. Every once in a while, these safety gates will drop and start flashing and start making noises to let you know there is a fucking train that is about to roll through here. Get the fuck out of the way. So, the train is cyclical, it is predictable, it is obvious when it will happen. There is no dying to it accidentally. If you died to it, it's because you weren't paying attention. Likewise, or not likewise, onto the main design of the map. There is a nice close quarters section throughout here. This middle building, though, has good interlinkage with the back area. You can go back here and then climb upwards into this middle area, which has good vantage for this area right here and opposite area right here. You can go on top of the parked train. This parked train on the map is not just here for decoration. You can climb onto this train from the buildings right here and right here. So you can go up here, and instead, if you don't want to cross over to the bottom lane completely, you can instead go through this window. You can counter engage here, or you can go on out of the window and just straight onto the train. Give you a nice vantage view from the opposite angles, which gives you obviously nice, like, good sight lines, both close and far away from this middle area. Now, if you decide you want to keep going inside, you absolutely can do that. It'll lead into the inside area, which is where B-Flag is, right here, with this inside, I think, help desk area that has 2 windows right here and a doorway right here. So yeah, there's a lot of, like, close quarters congestion right here. There are 2 staircases that lead downwards right here into these bottom sections. This middle section right here is climbable. These back sections are not. There's an elevator here with impermeable, or with invincible glass, which is pretty funny. And then these big funnel ways that lead back into the indoor lanes, I will call them, for this map. With a couple of, like, cylindrical, like, obstructions. They're like advertisements. So there's a couple of, like, cylindrical advertisements as you're going along here. So it's not just completely open, along with some covering at the top and bottom, so you can engage that way. As you can tell, this map is very, very symmetrical. This map is basically identical both ways, and I think that's to this map's favor. So yeah, Hijacked is... I'm pretty sure no one is going to be surprised about this. Hijacked is one of the GOAT maps. Hijacked is such phenomenally strong design. Great symmetry, great accessibility, great range for all game type, for all play styles. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I mean like what makes 3-lane structure so good. The interconnectedness between the lanes. Not hijacked, yeah, my bad. Express, brain. Brain is braining right now. I'm very tired. Oh, we'll get to hijacked, but don't worry, Express. We'll get to that GOAT later. Yeah, we will get to that one later. Express is phenomenally designed. Like, genuinely, Express is like one of those maps where you could. It's one of those maps where you don't mind seeing it in multiple Call of Duties, but it hasn't been remade that often, right? Like, this is a map that would like feel good in a ton of Call of Duties. Express is great. Oh, and obviously, the visuals are very nice. The advertisements that are plastered all over the place are nice, like, spruces of color. The big red stationary train, which you can go inside of, by the way, because I forgot to mention that. You can go inside of the red stationary train via this section and this section on the opposite ends, which gives you window vantage points into mid lane. Again, I mentioned so much. What makes 3-lane design so good? Interconnectedness, right? It is not simply like 3 linear lanes with like 1 or 2 connections. There are a ton of branching connection points that can connect you between the lanes that open up gameplay in so many ways. And the reason why 3-lane design sucks nowadays is because they fucking don't do that anymore. Like, it's that simple. They just don't do that anymore. The number of accessible areas and lanes that connect into various sections are just not present anymore in the newer maps. That's why 3-lane design is, like, considered bad nowadays. Cause, like, the first time they did it, they basically did it the best way fucking possible. Right? Like, that's the main issue. Right? Like, it is a design template, but just because you have a template doesn't mean that, like, following the template guarantees success. Because that's not what templates are for, right? They are generic guides that help implement your design decisions. But they are not an end-all, be-all. Because there are a variety of ways you can implement the 3-lane design. So, yeah. Up next, Frost. If I remember correctly, this map is a completely new map for the DLC, and I don't remember where it is. Let's see, Frost. Yep, new map. In the Netherlands. Yay. In the Netherlands. Alright, Frost. Now, you might be concerned, because you see a bridge, and you see some water here. Don't worry! This entire river section, the river is actually frozen. This river is traversable and does not have ice physics. It's just a regular fucking river you can walk across. It's like any other terrain. One team spawns down here, the other team spawns down here. I think the lanes are pretty clear here. Straight down the middle. A left lane here that leads through here with buildings which provide overview and flank points that connect to the rest of the buildings on their opposite ends, which is quite nice. And then this lane right here with this big building here, and then the second bridge right here. If you look right here, this right here is the middle area. You can see the bridge from, I think this is A side, right here. You can see right around here, you can see the building right here. That's, we'll get to that one in a moment. This building right here. And then the bridge. So, the high walls actually prevent people from just being able to just pick at you from the river. If you want to engage with the spot, and you're on the river, you basically just have to, like, chuck grenades and secondaries in order to engage with it. You can potentially try and fish for penetration kills. The cover is not too thin. It is possible. It's just not ideal. Likewise, now the thing about that though is that there are buildings and windows right here and right here that obviously counter-engage and view with their opposing lanes. So it's not too bad. There is this lane right here that leads into the back, but this building also has that. It's just inside the building. Don't worry. I think Frost, big problem. Honestly, a big problem with a lot of the DLC maps in general. I think Frost is a bit too close quarters. I think long range struggles the most here out of all the other maps we've mentioned so far. Not in general, just so far. But it's not impossible, right? Like, long range can absolutely, like, do some work here. But this range is also, like, solid for mid-range as well, and sometimes even close range, honestly. There's a lot of, like, good movement available through the map, though. The building interconnectedness and the various, like, spots, there's not a high number of them, but there's a good enough number of them that I think Frost is good. I like Frost. Frost is alright. Up next, Grind! The good old wacky, waveable, inflatable arm flailing tube man. So, Grind is a skate park. A lot of the skate park sections are really thick and impenetrable. We'll talk about that as we talk about the maps. I think the lane design here is really clear. But I think this is a good example of, like, lanes and having, like, branching paths and, like, split paths, which provide for, like, flank routes. So, one team spawns up here, one team spawns down here. I'm gonna start with middle lane because that's, yeah, I'll start with middle lane. Alright, middle lane has every structure you see right here is an elevated, unwalkable, skate, like, vert structure. I'm not sure of the terminology. It's been a while since I played Tony Hawk. But if you see, like, gray beneath it, that means there is a decent area of walkableness, and you can generally get, like, decent cover behind these, right? So, like, this section right here, which you can see right here, right? See that? You can see, this right here is this spot. You can see right here, this is the section that is that spot of the map. You can see, it is, this one you can just straight up climb. Some of the other ones are not so generous. This one you can climb. You can also climb up here. This area has a good vantage point. Right here, there is a half wall, like right here, that stops you from directly engaging with people coming out of middle, but it is still possible. There's a good sight line that leads to these staircases down here to engage with people who are trying to come from this section, but there's a good counter-engage section for the people over here from this far back spot right here and this block right here. Again, most of the areas on this map are very solid and cannot be shot through. So, there is a good, like, trade, tit-for-tat, your turn, my turn potential, or, like, outplay potential, which is pretty nice. There is a big, like, half vert here, with a bit of an indoor section that you can walk around right here. Likewise, as you see back here with back spawn, there's a back section right here that connects from spawn. So you can go from spawn, you can go around here, and then if you decide, you can, you know, it makes it a lot easier to go over here. It makes it a bit safer to try and engage from this area. There's the climbable section right here, which, as I mentioned, is a good vantage point, right? If you get here first, if you're using like a SMG or you know, you pistol swap and you have lightweight to get here first with an engage with long range, this is a very good spot for long range. This spot right here, there's an indoor section with a little window that engages with mid, but there is a counter window inside from the opposite end that has high ground, which makes it a bit tricky to deal with. Now, the engage here is that this window has a bit of an easier time dealing with both of the lanes, while this top window can only basically deal with this counter window right here and then the people coming in from this section, but not from this section because of the wall right here and because of the angle. This is a very small window, right? So the viewpoint is not as big as this window, so it's not completely skewed just because this window has high ground. Speaking of, this section right here walks directly downwards into a lower sloping area to go and connect to this point. There is a big indoor storage section right here with a back staircase that connects you to this lane. This lane right here has this these stadium seats that are traversable, as well as a back lane that you can counter engage with another like funnel that you can go behind, as well as climb up and out of if you want to try and engage from people from those sections. And this section right here has a staircase that leads upwards that goes into this downwards ramp. This section right here is a downvert. that you can climb up and out of. You can walk over it from this section and then like walk around. But this area also has a much easier section because there's a staircase right here that slips right into here that leads directly into the other staircase, which is really nice. Even these back stair sections have like good maneuverability around them. Like there's a good like block right here with this car here and this car here that gives good. Oh yeah, I can like do this and like, make a line. That provide good spots to get around here, jump around. With good like line of sight from here to try and deal with people who are picking at you from this section. Or like right from this section, it's really good. This right here is an indoor bathroom that only has 2 entrances. This one right here and this one right here. But if you go from this one right here, it makes it a lot easier to deal with the people who are on this head glitch. Let's say you did deal with a spot and your team took control of middle, and now you're on this head glitch trying to stop people from coming in through this way. Well, this bathroom has a much shorter sightline over here that makes it easier for short and mid-range to engage with the long-range player who's trying to get at people walking in from this side. Grind is phenomenal. Grind is great. I'm putting it in GOAT. I think Grind is a great map from top to bottom. It is good flow, good interconnectedness, good use of stories across the area, good lines of sight for long, middle, and short. Have you noticed that like everything I put in like Fantastic and GOAT have had like good ranges for all types of players? I think that's a really good like thing that Black Ops 2 did that a lot of ones struggle with. Because like a lot of Call of Duties before and after tend to have problems with like maps that are just hard, heavy skewed towards a certain gun type or play style, which is like really not fun when you're that heavily restricted. But because of how the maps are designed in Black Ops 2, it makes it a lot easier to use the things you want to use and still be effective, because basically everyone everywhere has a key place they can be in order to apply map pressure. It's one of the things that makes these maps so good. Up next! They don't call it the GOAT boat for no reason. Hijacked! Dude, you know what I love? You know, the loading screen on this one is so phenomenal because you can basically already tell where the 3 lanes are on this map just from this screenshot. So yeah. Here's the actual map layout. One team spawns back here. The other team spawns back here. The lanes are very clear. Right lane, left lane, mid lane. It is tight, it is compact, but just because it is tight and small and compact does not mean that long-range players are fucked. There are great long-range sight lines along the mid or along the outer sections. Yeah, it's just a boat, but it's so good. But that's the thing, though. It's like a well-designed boat, which is what makes it so well-designed. Right? There's this section right here that connects behind these two, like, emergency belts. And there's a nice long-range section right here. It leads into this hot tub area. This hot tub area has viewpoint right here. This section right here, there are 2 solid walls with like an overhang, as you can see right here. This is a nice little thing right there. And then this section right here is a hot tub right here. You can see, right, you just go right on into the hot tub. Hot tub has really solid walls. You would think, but no, you can actually shoot through those walls in the hot tub. You can kill people cross lane by shooting through hot tub. Not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people tried that. A lot of people were just like, oh, that shit probably thick as hell. I'm not gonna shoot through it. Shoot through it. It's fucking hysterical. It's funny. Do it. Now, the indoors areas are actually really good on this map, even though there's not that many. As you might be able to tell, middle is really tight and congested, right? There is an entry point here, 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 and here. Along with, of course, the hot tub providing overwatch to this area and this area, and then the hot spring area providing overwatch to this area and this area. However, there is an emergency staircase, as we see along here, that can connect from this inner area, loop right around, over here. But as you can see, there are even 2 head glitch spots right here and right here, so you can potentially cut off this flank route with long-range play. God, this map is so fucking well designed! And then there's the rest of the indoor areas, because we're not done, as you might tell by the dotted line. Dotted line means there's usually an indoor area. There is an underground section that you can go in from the opposite indoor areas that connects to the engine room. Engine room is really tight with a couple of the engines, of course. It is hectic, it is chaotic, it is a much smaller area than the top area. It is really tight and it's just chaos, but it's the best kind of chaos. Likewise, the top areas are not without their due. The indoor areas, as you can tell, have good ways into them from the outside. You can go up the ladder to go inside onto the second story. The second stories of both buildings providing decent cover, but not complete cover. So it still means that you have opportunity to flank around the routes, because these power positions are strong, but even if you get good foothold in mid right here, because of the 2 really strong structures right here, you could potentially pick people off of those long-range sight lines right there. Right? It's really good. But the funniest part, and probably the most random part about this map, there's a couple of spots where you can just throw grenades down, especially like right here, in order to throw grenades down into the engine room if you want to fuck with people. Why do you want to do that? It's really funny. It's funny. It's funny. You want to do it because it's funny. That's why. Yeah, Hijacked. Hijacked is great. Hijacked is genuinely one of the best Call of Duty maps ever. Like, full stop. And even with a map as small as it is... See, that's what I mean when I talk about, like, why Black Ops 2's maps are so good. And why I think, like the maps in, like, Black Ops 1 fail, right? Because one could argue that, like, the maps in Black Ops 1 don't fare as well because the weapons that are just, like, not as good, especially the SMGs, right? Close range in Black Ops 1 is just not good. But the maps in a vacuum would be good for close range if there were better close range options. But because of the weapon balance in Black Ops 2, it makes the maps better because all of the options that are present in game have capabilities on the majority of the maps, right? It's like, because the weapon balance is good, the map design feels better, right? Those 2 are connected, right? Because the map, there's a couple of times where the maps can get brought over to a new game, but because of the completely different weapons, it will change the structure and the flow of the map. And sometimes just make it feel worse. Like, genuinely, sometimes maps will just feel worse because the weapons that are present in the game don't fit the map anymore. That's one of the reasons why Black Ops 2's maps are so strong, right? The weapon balance and the map design are fucking yin and yang. They fit together so well. Just incredibly well. Up next, Hydro. We have another DLC map, and one I enjoyed quite a bit. I like Hydro. This is at a dam in India, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it's in... Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I think they speak Urdu when they open the gates. Boop. Let's see, what do they say? Yeah, they speak Urdu. Boop. Don't ask me how the fuck I remember that. I just... Call of Duty. Anyway, here is the map design. This one is, like, bizarrely symmetrical, but, like, in a, like, from this angle, right? You have this backline right here, which is a building that connects to an indoor section, which is very tight and cluttered. There's an underground section right here that can connect into this section over here. Likewise, there is a ladder you can climb up to get to this vantage point that leads in opposite ends. It will not view the middle area, but it will view the areas that are around there. So, like, everything here from this section, from this, like, power room. Can we see the power room from here? Yeah, actually we can. It's right there. Yeah, you can see right here. This power room right here gives you good vantage points to the opposite power positions from the lane spawns, right? Spawn here, spawn here. You can get up This section is right over here. You can get up through the staircase that leads into this section right here, which provides overview into this middle area, which is a little bit elevated, as you can see. Likewise, the opposite spawn has pretty much the same thing. There are two opposing buildings in the middle section right here that have good view of each other and their opposing lanes, but because of how they're angled, they're a bit cut off right here, so it is possible to flank from the underground and try and catch people at these windows. Likewise, from middle area, as you can see, you can go down from middle area and climb into this section right here and trying to engage people from here too, which is very nice. Hold on. Now, every couple of minutes, the announcer will mention that they are opening the barge gates and will flood the entire middle section of the underside of the map here with water. It will kill you instantly. Once again, the game will make it very clear when it is happening. There will be lights flashing, there will be sirens, there will be an announcer man telling you in Hurudu that he is opening the fucking gates. So pay attention! Now, once again, good congestion, right? Good, nice, balanced map design for a lot of playstyles. The indoor areas obviously lead to very good close engagements. There are good mid-range areas right here if you take the counter positions here, or if you already just take this position, you can see this little cement barrier right here that leads into like good engagement here and here, or otherwise you can go long range if you want to try and shoot inwards towards spawn and try and like, while dealing with people up here, try and deal with people who are coming in from the opposite end of the gates, which is also pretty handy. The opposite end indoor buildings have good close and mid-range engagements, and again, nice good long-range engagements from long range here. This map is very well designed. Hydro, I think it's fantastic. I really like Hydro. I think Hydro's really good. I would love to see it in more games, honestly. Like, I think Hydro's flow, the interconnectedness, the lane design, I think it's pretty strong. Yay. Speaking of Hydro, give me a quick moment. I will be right back. I need to use the bathroom. Alrighty, I'm back. Yeah. Boop. Yay. Alright, next. Also, geez, we have a lot of people. Hi, people. Magma. Another DLC map, another one that's original. As you can see, takes place in a Japanese city as an active volcano is exploding. Don't worry, you don't have to deal with random volcano spurts hitting you as you're traveling across the map, because that would suck. But there are spatterings of lava across the map. Visual strength on this map, very good, obviously. The heat hue is really cool. The destroyed section of the middle is very nice. Here is the layout. One team spawns down here. The other team spawns up here. There is a back lane right here that is rather linear. There's not that many ways to get into the side lanes. Only this section and the back section here. And likewise through this building and its back section here. There is this lane right here. This lane is a bit more interconnected because of the train. The train in the middle has a jump-off point right here that can lead into the middle area. Which is where B flag is. I think pointing out where B flag is like a good general principle. To let you know like where the general structures of like objectives are. Because it could change, right? Likewise, example, this building and this building right here have vantage points. You can see that this poster cuts off the view from mid, so you need to approach from this angle and go like approach and aim from under rather than just straight up from train. It is really difficult to hit this person who's like overwatching this area from train. It's possible, it's just really fucking hard. Yeah, train has a couple of splits here you can make, but yeah, you can go through train, leads to both sections, leads into the opposite lanes sufficiently enough. As you might be able to tell, this is mid area. The entire section right here is fucking lava. You will die if you touch the lava. Don't touch the lava, you fucking dumbass. Self-explanatory, it's fucking lava. I don't think I need to explain that one. I think Magma's biggest problem is I think it's a similar problem I had earlier. There's not that many like flank routes. It's really tight and like the number of flank routes is really low, right? You've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll be nice, per side. But they're so close to each other that it's like hard to even really make such a strong difference about them. Like, even if you, like, from right here, if you're defending, right, from right here, you can catch people coming out of both of these points, you can catch people coming out of building, and right here, if you're back here with long range, you can catch people coming out of either of these points too, right? It's a bit too linear. I think this map, as interesting as it is visually, I think it's a bit too linear, and it suffers a little because of that. I like it visually, but yeah, it's a bit, you know, predictable, and that, you know, it doesn't feel as good. Up next, Meltdown! This is, as you might be able to tell, a nuclear power facility. Again, dude, so many maps are like during sunset or sunrise, and they look so good. But like they're not obtrusive, you know what I mean? Like the sun's never in your fucking eyes. You're never like just looking at an angle and you're like, ah fuck, I can't see, and you know, you just die. No, it feels good. It's good. Here's the map layout. Alright, this map has its 3 lanes. One team spawns here, one team spawns here. There's the upper lane up here. As you can see, it is very angular, right? This is a, you know, facility. There's a lot of hard angles here, but decent flank routes around these hard angles, potentially, with a nice elevated section up here to cover this angle, and a little bit of this section here. Can we see the, Yeah, you can see right here. There's a big old generator right here. You can go into the in-between sections of the bigger parts in order to potentially flank, which is pretty neat. So you can go on here and on here, try and catch people off guard who are like running through, or even people who are trying to run up to get in the middle, because this is a really good spot to get in the middle. Likewise, these 2 areas are basically symmetrical. They're not exactly symmetrical, but they have pretty much the same detailings, which is pretty nice. There are 2 buildings here. There's one funnel right here that leads upwards into the B flag right here. A B flag that has decent covering from the buildings on opposite edges here, but not complete covering of the buildings from opposite edges. Each of those buildings' windows can look at each other and contest each other and get a little bit of their lane. Not completely down their lane, but a little bit of lane. there is an underground section you can take under B flag if you want to try and flank that way by going underground and using the cars as cover in order to go around. There are climbable spots on both ends of this section right here in order to climb inside and flank from that way, which is really good. And then there's the big silo in the middle. The big silo in the middle has two sections. You can remain two sections that lead upwards to go around, and then a upper staircase that leads onto the upper section of B. And there's a lot of smoke and junk and stuff in the middle of this, so it is a bit hard to see. Not impossible, though, which is quite nice. But yeah, big thing is, you know, I think this map overall is good. I think it's one of the simpler maps, but I do still like it. It doesn't have a larger number of flank routes, but it has a nice compactness to its flank routes, right? Like, there's not just, it's not redundant like some of the ones were on Magma, right? Like, it feels like a lot more thoughtful where you could engage from. Also, there's a climbable section right here that provides cover with this car right here. And there are windows from these sections right here to counter-engage the long range from enemies approaching from spawn. The indoor section of the buildings are pretty tight with an upstairs area that leads into the area that looks at the other building and deals with B flag. Forgot to mention that too. Again, I think it's a simpler one, generally speaking, but I feel like there's a much bigger like thoughtfulness behind the choke points, even though there's fewer of them. I think Meltdown is pretty good. Let's see, anything else about this map I feel like I should mention? I don't think so. Alright. Up next, Mirage! This is one of the DLC maps. This takes place, I think, in a sandstorm in China, if I remember correctly. Visually, very strong. I'm a big fan of desert. Here is the map layout. Very asymmetrical, but you can still tell the lanes down here, through the middle big building, and right over here. This section right here is, right here. You can see right here, this section right here, this like uplifted part, is this building right here, to give you a good perspective. This building right here, as you can see, is a pretty good vantage point that leads into this drained pool. But the drained pool does have good cover. You have good cover if you're quick enough to dip and dive around the sections of the pool to try and get people away from top position here. The diving board is no longer attached, but still provides a nice decent amount of cover. It is penetrable, so be careful. A decent amount of cover to try and counter-engage with here. And there's a building right here that has its own window that leads over there, which is pretty nice. The big building, there is a big statue in the middle here and two floors. There's a floor right here. There's one entryway right here, so do be careful on this end. Oh, I forgot to mention, one team spawns here, one team spawns here. My bad. So yeah, there is a big one entryway right here that leads into this upper ring here. You know, nice and connected. You can go down here instead. This section is a bit more destroyed and dilapidated. But the other end has both an upstairs section and a bottom section to potentially sneak in from here. And because of the statue, it makes it, you know, a decent option to try and approach from the bottom, even though this point is higher up in middle. I think the bottom lane is probably the worst area of the map. You can go inside this building and there's the connection that way. From bottom, I just don't think it's as strong. I feel like, you know what? I feel like this map is, it's like a slightly better version of Aftermath. I think that's a really good description for this map. I like this map more than Aftermath, but I still don't love it. It's slightly better, but not better enough to take it out of okay. Yeah, I love the song. Let's see, anything else? Talking about the ranges, there's good close range on inside, decent flank routes from both ways. In the bottom lane here, because of how tight bottom lane is. Top lane is a lot more open than bottom lane, so that means that long range can generally deal with top lane and a bit of like mid lane really well. There are some buildings, auxiliary buildings here that you can go inside and on top of. You can go on top of this one right here to potentially deal with people coming out of here. And yeah, this building right here, you can walk up from this section right here. You can walk right up here. So yeah, this map is a nice, very good balance. Hold on. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. Alrighty. Up next, Nuketown 2025. Do I like it more than the original? I think ever so slightly yes, because of the better weapons. I think once again, I think the weapons and the maps are just so interconnected, and I feel because close range was just not great in Nuketown in Black Ops 1, it made Nuketown like a bit more tedious than normal in Black Ops 1. But Black Ops 2, on the other hand, I find it a little more enjoyable. Nuketown is notoriously one of Call of Duty's smallest maps. It is very simple. One team spawns over here, the other team spawns over here. There are houses that you can go in with 2 floors. There is a ton of interconnectedness. The house can go, you can go inside the house, you can deal with here, you can go in the garage for one of them, or you can go in the garage for both of them actually, right? You can go in the garage for both of them with each have their own funnels, which is pretty good. There are 2 big buses, one that is impenetrable, but you can shoot under it, so do keep that in mind. And another one that you can enter in order to counter-engage with the people approaching from houses. But just because this is the smallest map in the series does not mean that this map is relegated to small weapons only. Because, oh boy, the long-range sightlines offered on the edges of the lane, on both perimeters to be quite honest, are really strong. You being able to stop people from approaching from a lane due to a long-range sightline like right here, and right here, and right here, and right here, is very strong. So close range is not, like, you know, dominant on this map just because of that. Also, the houses' top floors have windows that overwatch into the middle lane. Alright, into the center here. Which is very solid. It's fucking Nuketown. Like, do I need to say anything? You've probably fucking played it already. But I think this is the best version of it because it's the only version I feel where all the weapons really fit really nicely. But I will say, Black Ops 3's version with the added walls is also very strong. I think that one, like, competes with the original for being the best version. I think the added walls and the added verticality on the Black Ops 3 version is very good. That reminds me, hey yo, does Black Ops 3 have like a plutonium equivalent yet? Because like I would love to play like Black Ops 3 multiplayer, but like, you know, people are evil and like playing on PC is just mean. Like it's. So yeah, Nuketown 2025, really good. Also has a really fun Easter egg where if you shoot all the mannequin heads off and go to the sign in the middle, you can play some of Activision's old Atari games on the big billboard. Don't ask me how the fuck anyone would let you do that in the middle of a match, but it's possible, technically. Up next, Overflow, as you can see, is a dilapidated, city in, I forget where this is, brain not reading language good. Let me double check that. Overflow is in Pakistan. Okay. Visually, I think it's really nice. As like, nice as cluttered destruction can be. Right? There's a nice like, again, like, what is where it is feels really good where it is. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but, like, there's an art to making junk feel organically placed when you're designing junk. Which might sound weird, but no, think carefully. If you're trying to make something look like junk, right? Look like it's been there forever, look like it's dilapidated, there is a lot of thought and care you need to put into something to make it look as unappealing as possible. And I think they did a really good job here. And it still has, like, good splatterings of color, but you can tell that this town has been through some shit. Here is the map layout. Now, this one has a rather odd design for its 3 lanes. I don't know how else to describe them, but, like... No, actually, I don't know how to describe them. Alrighty, one team spawns here, the other team spawns here. There's this top lane right here, which is incredibly short. There is an indoor section right here and an indoor section right here that is rarely occupied, but can happen sometimes. There's this middle section right here, which has overview on B flag right there, smack dab. With 2 cars, this section right here is elevated. I wish we could see that section a little bit more, but you can get a glimpse of it right here. Leading right up here into B flag, this whole section is elevated. And you climb up and over, or like maintain on that elevation for a good power position. The opposing buildings in that area have a window here and another one here that deal with the opposing lanes for long range, which is pretty nice. The mid lane, as you can tell in the picture, has a splattering of old and abandoned cars and various junk occupying it. Good for ducking in and out of cover, which is pretty nice. This section right here has a bottom floor of an abandoned mall where you can run in and exit from this side, and this side to lead into the back lane here, which is like the most separate, I will say. There is a big old section here. This right lane right here leads to the upstairs area that overviews into this lane right here. It's pretty good. There is a back lane right here that you can go across. Like, this whole section right here is pretty intricate. Going through here and going around here to get to this flank, or you can go into the building itself to go up to this flank instead. Potentially going around, taking the long way around the moat, potentially, because it's less congested, so people tend to look at it less, which is a good way to get around. And from the opposing end, there are 2 sections inside to let you get in there pretty simple. No windows there, which is kind of important. But generally, they get to this area, this spawn gets to this area faster than this spawn does, so this spawn usually fights for it. But if this spawn gets control of it, it's a lot easier to maintain for this spawn than I think it is for this spawn because of the less maneuverability present on this end. So yeah, overflow. There is a bottom staircase that you can go into that leads into the back of the lane here. This building has 1 entrance and 1 exit. You can only go in here and only exit here. You're going in here to deal with mid and nothing else. So I hope you're good planning on it. Also, one thing I should mention, if I say something is a good long-range sideline, the sentry guns in Black Ops 2 are incredibly strong. So they're also really good for sentry guns. Sentry guns in this position right here, basically dominate B flag, unless your opponent has EMPs to get rid of the sentry guns, or they're using cold-blooded with like an LMG with FMJ to shoot it down instead. I'm not going to mention that too much, but it's something I feel should be noted, right? Kill streaks are very good in Black Ops 2, which makes the positions that are good like even better, right? Like being able to maintain that position in order to maintain advantage is very important. So, overflow. I think overflow is fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's okay. Boop. But yeah, visually, I do like it. I think it's very nice visually, but yeah. What would I do? Like, how would I change this to, like, make me like it more if I wanted to? I don't know, actually. Like, I'm not sure what I would change here to, like, improve it, per se. Like, I don't think it needs to be changed. I just don't, enjoy it as much, I guess. Up next, did I double skip? No, I didn't. Plaza! Ah, yes, good old Debo. How I miss you, Debo. As you might be able to tell, this is at Colossus Resort, which is a big old man-made island for the rich and wealthy and blah 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 blah. Here is the map layout, very strong. Once again, similar to Hijacked, it is symmetrical in the middle here. Essentially, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the map layout here is very strong. Lanes, I think, are pretty self-explanatory. This top lane right here that leads into the inside of the boat and goes clean through here with interconnected flankways from this entryway and this entryway right here. This big nightclub area in the middle with this table, with a big table, a bunch of tables and chairs for like flanking and dodging, a big old like drink stand right here that you can run behind and try and approach from that angle. Area right into the middle, big old circle area with another big old like advertisement thingamabob right here that connects into mid lane, which is pretty nice. Mid lane is where B flag is. That leads symmetrically into an opposing end over here. I want to mention, by the way, even though this map is symmetrical, it's kind of weird because it doesn't look symmetrical. I don't know how else to explain it, but like when you play it and you're like, you can tell which side of the map you're on, even though it looks the map layout is symmetrical. Like, which I feel is like really important. Alrighty. Now, bottom lane I want to talk about real quick has is right here, as you can see. These two structures, you can see that one right here. It's the one with the cross. That lets you know where we are right now. Here's the boat. Yeah, bottom lane has this big mall section where you can go in. There is a desk here and here that you can hide and flank behind with a staircase that leads into B flag right here and leads with glass panels that exit this side that you can destroy. Or you could alternatively flank around. There are two flank routes. There's a clear flank route right here, and then there's like a more hidden flank route right behind here if you want to try and juke people who are in mall and catch them off guard. Both buildings have ladders that you can climb up in order to get up on top. And then they provide long-range overview of B flag. I wish you could see that right here. But this is definitely the power long-range spot of the map. But likewise, they have opposing areas that help them overview the mall. So they're not completely shit in the bed just because you missed the mall, which is pretty good. This area in middle is elevated. These two are staircases that lead downwards. Let's see, what do I have to say about this map? I think this map is a bit more close quarter oriented and mid-range than Long. Long has a very good, very important power position right here, but I feel like mid and close, mostly mid. I think this is more or less a mid-range map more than anything. I think mid really dominates because there's like so many entryways that are just about mid-range, but it's a bit short close range unless you can get a good engage. And, you know, definitely not Long. Like, you do not want Long if you're inside mall or inside the fucking bar. Like, that's terrible. You will be sad. But I do still like Plaza. I think Plaza's good. Yeah, Final Fantasy IX's music is just so happy. Which is ironic, but good game. Alright, next. Pod. Pod is one of the DLC maps. Not gonna lie, okay, hold on. Let me... Yeah, we need a not feeling it tier, because like I feel like a lot of the maps in okay, and like I don't hate Pod. Right? I don't think Pod is poorly designed like Cove is. Let's see, what would I move down to not feeling it? I would move Aftermath to not feeling it. I would move Magma to not feeling it. Yeah, and I will put Pod in not feeling it. I think that's fair. So, Pod visually, I think, is the most dull of the maps, surprisingly. It is based on a abandoned housing project where they were trying to make futuristic homes. The foliage is nice, but there's just like a lot of browns, greens, and grays. And not enough color, I feel. Here is the map layout, and honestly, this is where I think the map suffers the most. There are basically no flank routes on this map. Just straight up, there is nothing but like choke point after choke point on this map. One team spawns here, the other team spawns here. B flag is right about here, as the examples. This back route is decently open. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's see. Where are we? Right here. I recognize where we are. We are right here. We are right here. Yeah, because you can see the leading into the lane. You can see the back right here. Yeah, we are right here. Don't ask me how the fuck I recognize that so fast, even though I hate this map. I don't hate it. I just don't think it's great. So yeah, the biggest issue with this map is that, like, yeah, there's no choke points. This top lane, this bottom lane, this mid lane, it's kind of a funky shape. I wouldn't mind the funky shape if there's more interconnected. You know what's funny? You know what, actually? I think this map would be really good in Black Ops 3. I think Black Ops 3's movement would open up the lack of choke points just a little bit more because of the verticality. This map basically has, like, no real changes in elevation. There's technically one here and technically one at the staircase, but otherwise, not really. I think this map would do actually really good in Black Ops 3 because I think the vertical movement and especially the extra horizontal movement, being able to run across the horizontal sections of the upper areas and around the hexagons of the pods would actually make this map feel really good in Black Ops 3, but it doesn't feel good in Black Ops 2 because of the lack of, like, movement options, essentially. Right? Because I'm not hiding anything from you. Like, you can see all the choke points, right? Like, here's this section right here. There's choke point into B. There's one choke point right here that leads into B flag from the middle. That's it. You can see the opposite end's choke point from right here, and you can see bottom lane's choke point right here, and then right here. Like, that's it. That's actually it. Like, the map is just really, really, really congested and just doesn't have the movement and maneuverability to make it feel good in Black Ops 2. I think this would feel better in a game with advanced movement. Like, unironically, I think this map would feel a lot better in an advanced movement game. Hell, even Black Ops 7. I can imagine this map in Black Ops 7 feeling pretty well. But I don't think it fits in Black Ops 2. I think having the extra verticality from the advanced movement and having the extra, like, again, the horizontal area access would help a lot with this map in other games. But not Black Ops 2. Up next, Raid. I don't think I need to fucking explain this one. If I remember correctly, of this game's original maps, this is the one that has been in the most amount of games so far. Yeah, there's a reason for that. This map is fucking insanely well designed. First of all, you're at some rich prick's expensive mansion, so it's fun to shoot shit. That's always fun. Second of all, layout. A very, very asymmetrical 3-lane design. We have this lane right here with a basketball court that leads into a big swimming pool with a bar right here. That leads into this section right here, this upstairs bedroom that has a big window which has good overview of this section, which is pretty nice. That leads into the back of this spawn, whose other spawn is right here. You have middle lane, which can converge into several things. Middle lane has a area to convert into left lane from right here. It has the middle area right here with decent structure in the kitchen to provide you cover, as well as going straight into the bonsai garden in the middle, as well as an alternate section if you want to jump out right here and try and flank from here with good cover from right here, because right here has a bit of an issue trying to get you from right here unless you go far out here. Normally when people are in this area right here, they're up here where the bedroom is, right? And that's a really hard spot to try and like peek at from that side, unless you put yourself and expose yourself by either going along the bottom around the edge of the pool right here to try and catch you, or you like break off the windows and you're trying to catch here. Middle leads into the bonsai garden. The bonsai garden is walkable. Don't let those lines fool you. This area on the perimeter is elevated. The inside area is lower down, but these structures are rocks and or trees. I forget which ones are which. That are impenetrable, so do be careful. Likewise, with a nice staircase with a big divider section going into left lane right here. Very nice. Converts cleanly into enemy spawn, opposite spawn right here. And then right lane, brain, is also great. Right lane, I can't fucking speak today. I need a nap. Leads cleanly right over here. Now, this goes into this big middle area that we're seeing right here. And you might be able to tell why this middle area is so good. These like marble like entryway right here is like so good because it makes fight in mid chaotic and hectic, because you're basically playing a game of like fucking pick that door as you're trying to decide how to engage this middle area. As you can see, this middle area is another bonsai garden with these big rock structures and this big art structure right here, which is these big fucking solid stones. And a car that can blow up, so do be careful. Don't blow up the Ferrari! There is a overview section right here with a laundry room that can lead right over here and watch into that other window from this person's viewing room. Likewise, viewing room has a couple of spots you can get to from inside. You can get to it from... There we go. You can get to the viewing room from bonsai room. There's a door right here that can lead upstairs into viewing room or downstairs, and if you want to go and approach from here. Right here is a big old garage that can connect into this back wall right here to safely approach and flank this area, this section right here. These like semi-walls provide like really interesting cover when trying to get around here, because it means someone who's like over here has like a really big issue trying to get here. There's some more cars over here, by the way. Do be careful! And garage leads into a gym area. The gym area also connecting to the road that leads upwards to the middle area. The middle area is a nice big area right here. We already saw the art structure and the various stones that are present. Laundry room overviews pretty well. Viewing room overviews pretty well. Counteracting each other very nicely. Because of the art structure, the viewing rooms cannot get to the far end flanks, right? So you can't see people coming from road from this area, and you can't see people coming from the bottom of the laundry room from this area right here, which is really good. It makes it so that you have a nice clean approach, whether you want to try and take the stairs or the doorway that's like right here to the bottom of viewing room, in order to try and engage the middle, which is really nice. Yeah, this map is phenomenal. Like, this map is insanely strong design. Again, nice views and vantage points for long range, for mid range, for close range. Like, everyone can work here on this map fantastically. It is a map with such great flow and interconnectivity, with just a large amount of flanks, but like still good power positions, right? Like, because the positions are strong, even though there's a large number of flanks. I think that's really important. Raid is great. Raid is fantastic. Like, Raid is one of the GOATs. God, how many fucking GOATs do we have so far? 5? Yeah, we're probably gonna have a few more. Up next, Rush. I like this map. This map is at a paintball facility. Yeah, I love the song. Rush. Here is Rush's layout. Another very asymmetrical layout. One team spawns here, the other team spawns here. This right here is a parking lot that leads into this bottom section right here that leads to the artwork splash right here. As you might be able to see from this area, there's a store from that section that connects there, and there's a manager room that connects there too from this section right here. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. So yeah, you can walk into the manager room from store, but that's it. You can go up the window into store or into the manager room and try and approach store from here, or or from here, from the middle of the paintball room. Paintball room being a very strong position. Hold on. Also, what date is it? 21. Paintball room, it is important to notice, does not have, like, this big block here is just a big old, like, inside area that is non-accessible. There's a lot of, like, dead space here where you can't go, so, like, this area is non-traversable. So paintball room can connect into the opposite spawn. There are a bunch of big cardboard block-off points here. There's some windows where you can walk through or jump in and view from here, but these are pretty big, and so is this one right here. There's another little one right here. This right here is a tree. The back lot here leads into this cardboard area back here, which is pretty nice. This top lane has a section here and here with counteracting windows, which is kind of important on this map. This is basically the only long-range area on this map because from this area, you have decent access to the choke points right here, here, and here. And same thing with here, here, and here. So these top positions are pretty strong, but these are basically the only long-range spots on this map. So do keep that in mind. This is definitely a close quarters mid-range map. There is a bus here that you can climb in and shoot people in and through. So do be wary. There's an underground section right here, hence the dots. You can go behind here, try and get cover from this section, and go in here and try and approach there. There is a run-up. You can run up this structure here to jump into the window on this end, but not that end, so do be careful. Again, very asymmetrical. B flag being right here. I fuck with Rush. Generally, I like Rush. I think Rush is okay. I think it's good. It's close quarters, but I think it's good close quarters. Like I said, cause the long range sights definitely are getting a bit shafted on that map, but like the positions they have on this map are still super important because they can basically completely close off mid lane. There's also an approach if you want to try and block people off of top lane and the paintball room, or the sandbag room, whatever those fucking things are. But that's really difficult because of the paintball structures are impenetrable. So it's really hard to try and fucking approach people through that. So you gotta watch it. Up next, slums. We have a nice view of the middle right here too. Hey yo, who is that guy? Someone who's more Hispanic and religious than me. Tell me who's that a statue of, because I actually don't know. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's pull it up. Slums. Let's see, we got a no, we don't. Damn. Yeah, Slums was actually in a large number of Call of Duties. I didn't know that before I looked at this. It was in Black Ops 2, 3, 4, COD Mobile, and Cold War. Interesting. I find that kind of weird. I find like this is a map that a lot of people just don't enjoy. I'm kind of surprised it was in multiple games. Let's talk about why. So, here's the map layout. One team spawns here. One team spawns here. And I'm not gonna lie, I think you can see why a lot of people don't like it. Take a nap, came back, still going. Yeah, we are, how many do we have left? We got, 8 maps left. We're almost done. we're at the point where, like, a lot of what I'm going to be saying is, like, pretty redundant, especially when talking about the good maps. There's a lot to talk about with the bad maps, I will say, especially because this game doesn't have that many bad maps. Speaking of slums, yeah, the biggest problem with slums is, choke points. Once again, there is top lane, there is bottom lane, and there's basically no mid lane, because mid lane is, like, so interconnected with all the other lanes that, like, it doesn't really exist as a lane. This map basically has 2.5 lanes, which is really bad, because it means that establishing advantage on this map, like, hard shuts down approaches. Like, you just can't fucking maneuver on this map when your opponent gets advantage. So, this middle area right here with the statue is a good example. Right here is mid lane, right? That dot is the statue. That's that guy, right? You can climb up on the statue. You can climb up on this section and this section. There's a nice little staircase here, as you can see. That's all nice and good. There's a perimeter, like, garden, like, flowering area on this side too. But all of this is impenetrable, right? So, like, this spot is a motherfucker for head glitching. Now, you might notice that, like, there's some tearing away at the wall here. Oh, so you're probably thinking, oh, that spot looks like a good spot to head glitch to try and approach people at Fountain, right? No! You can't head glitch that spot, you can only climb it, which means you're gonna get fucking tore up if you try and jump over the fence to try and get into B-Flag here. Like, you will get fucking decimated trying to, like, jump up here to try and get to B-Flag. Because, dude, the entire Fountain area is impenetrable. Likewise, again, because of the half-lane design here, all it takes, and I do mean all it takes, is one guy watching mid, one guy watching top lane, and one guy watching bottom lane, and you can't move. Especially because this side right here has a way higher advantage than this side, because the sight lines are much better for this side than it is for this side. This side's sightlines are really fucking bad because it's basically just staircases that lead into the areas where they get funneled. Like, this map is really asymmetrical and it's bad because of it. Like, this map genuinely suffers because of its design. Like, this... I'm gonna be... You know what? You know what's funny? Like, I remember... Yeah, no. You know what? Yeah, where is it? Ew. Yeah. I gotta be honest. Yeah, ew. The map doesn't feel good. It's too easy to just cut off access everywhere on the map. Like, it is too easy to maintain. Like, basically, if your team spawns on this side of the map, you fucking won. Like, just straight up, you won. You win. Like, you just win the map. Like, your opponents can't approach. They don't have any methods of approach. They have literally this building right here to approach, this section right here to approach, and this section right here to approach. That's it. Like, you're fucked if you spawn on this end. Like, you gotta fight for advantage so hard on this map. Like, yeah, this map's not good. This map's really not good. This is probably the worst space map. And I'm surprised it's one of the ones that's been in the most Call of Duty. Like, hell, let's go back to Raid, right? Because Raid is considered one of the best, right? So, we were literally just talking about this, but look at all the different entry and exit ways you have to get to the 3 lanes, right? So, lane 1 is right here, right? Basketball court to pool. Lane 2 is right here, right? You have the driving road into the center art structure, into the laundry, and up here. And the middle road is this building into the bonsais, into the bonsai garden, right? So, let's just use left lane as an example. You can go far back in left lane and approach from the basketball court. Basketball court has a mini building right here with other sports equipment that you can approach in from here, or try to approach from the wall here for extra cover that way. You can approach from this angle right here, which gives you a good overview of this section right here. People trying to head glitch this spot, try and get at you from here, or just keep watching people approaching from basketball. Likewise, if you approach from basketball, you can go into the Pool area. You can go into pool, and you can approach from pool. Pool has decent cover, but not the greatest cover. So you can also approach from the bar. Bar has good cover because it deals with pool and it deals with people coming from stairway coming out of bonsai garden. Now, opposite end, bedroom. Bedroom has multiple areas. Top of bedroom can walk you onto this section right here, give you good overview, but leaving you really obviously open. Bedroom has a good window right here to deal with people coming from stairs and potentially counter people who are at bar. And if you want to go a bit farther out, you can deal with people a little better coming out of kitchen. Kitchen has a room that leads into a bank room. So you can deal with people coming out of kitchen and bank right here to connect into, to try and, you see how, like, even the fucking, like, flank routes have flank routes, basically? You see how, like, with this one lane, the number of approaches and, like, thought process and gameplay patterns that emerge are numerous from that one lane. That's the difference between a map like Raid and a map like Slums. Right? There is a ton of approaches, but none of them are restrictive in any sense, because I didn't even bother mentioning that every single one of those flank routes has different options that allow for long, medium, and close range guns. Slums doesn't do that. Slums basically is, did you occupy middle? Yes. Did you control building? Yes. Do you have this flank covered? Yes. You win. That's it. That's literally it. Because from Fountain, from right here, from behind Fountain, you can cover the middle building right there that leads and the doorway that leads. Right? From right here. You can just chill right here behind fucking San Paulo or whatever the fuck this guy is. You can just chill right behind him and you are 100% safe. Because he's impenetrable, the terrain around the fountain is impenetrable, the garden is impenetrable, everything about the section is impenetrable. Like, you're just fucked. If someone gets there, you're not getting them off. You're just not. It's not happening. There's no sections from up here to try and look over into middle, except this side. But in order to get to this side, you gotta deal with people who have this position covered. Because this position covers every entryway coming out of this fucking building. You're just fucked. And there's only the one way here, so, like, it doesn't matter that you can potentially approach from building or potentially walk in the middle, because if you walk in the middle, you're gonna fucking die to the guy at Fountain, and if you approach from building, you're gonna die to the guy at Fountain! And the one section right here with the big, I think it's like a fucking monument effigy, whatever, with like a bunch of names on it. Bro, it takes one guy with a fucking LMG, because guess what? These are stairs. Stairs you have to walk up. Yeah, that's right. This is high ground. Like, this map is fucking garbage. This I said, like ill tier is genuinely reserved for the maps in this game that are some of the worst maps in the series. I was not kidding when I said I'm reserving ill for, like, abominations to game design. Slums is garbage. Holy shit! Thank God we have a fucking good map afterwards! Standoff! Holy, I need a drink after that. Good old water. You know, it's funny, I thought, you know, like, re-looking at this, I think Cove is, like, a big problem, because it's basically just, like, 2 fucking close quarters, and then, like, 2 open for, like, long range to, like, fucking do anything. Or, like, not too open, too congested for long range to do anything, because, like, all the, like, spots for long range on Cove lead them extremely vulnerable with, like, no real advantage. Like, Slums is just, like, the exact opposite. Slums is, like, once long range gets in place, you're not fucking moving them. Like, you're just fucked. Oh, good lord. Alrighty. Standoff. Let's talk about a good map. Visual design, really nice. Right? a war-torn village in, I think, Russia. Looks real nice. I think, like, visually, the map stands out pretty well. It's really obvious, really stands out. The color is nice. It's muted, but it's, like, well muted. Like, it's well-worn muted, and not, like, just dull, which I think is pretty nice. Alright, standoffs layout right here. We have this lane right here, we have this lane right here, and we have the middle area, which we see in the splash art right here. So that circle is the statue to give you like a good vantage. Alright, good frame of reference as we talk about this map. So, slums! One team spawns here, one team spawns here. I've been going like left to right as far as lanes are concerned, so let's keep doing that. There is a bit of an upper section here. It's like a semi-upper section. It's not a complete floor upwards. With some hay bales that you can hide behind and shoot through. This right here is a tank. This right here is a tank. You cannot shoot through the tanks. The tanks are impenetrable. You can climb on the tanks. For some maneuverability if you want. There is a wall right here and a tractor right here. You can dip behind the tractor. The tractor is also impenetrable, but climbing the tractor gives you a very good vantage point into this area in the back of this house right here, which is very handy. Also, climbing tractor gives you good view right here if someone's trying to approach from this side, behind the sign that's here, that people Mandela'd into believing wasn't there. But that's a story for another time. This house is inaccessible, but the area around it, including the square area, which provides nice little flank route, is. This walls right here are all low enough to do a very, like, nice, quick grenade to try and catch people off guard, or knock people out of the positions here, here, or here. So that's important to remember. All in all, this lane is, like, pretty good. Mid lane is interesting, because mid lane has essentially 3 houses that all, like, fight for mid lane. This house right here, this house right here, and this house right here. So, the houses on the far ends of mid lane compete for long range and exclusively mid-range, essentially, and covering their own area, right? So this house is good at dealing with mid-range, and this section right here. This house deals with mid-range, and this section over here, right? So there's like a good blind spot for each of the flanks to approach, trying to get to the other house, which is pretty nice. Likewise, this house only has, it's technically 2-story. 1 story goes straight to the bottom here. Well, both stories only go straight to the bottom, but this house is a bit weird because of this building. This building is like a an old abandoned kitchen. Oh, fuck me. I gotta get another OC remix song now. God damn it. I love you, Melody, but fuck. I'm gonna go grab that real quick. It's getting cold in my room. Bam! Alright, there we go. Obligatory thank you OC Remix for allowing people to use your music. Not that I'm complaining, this shit's goated. So, back to the buildings. The middle building has good interconnectivity. It can lead into this bottom section, which is like a clear courtyard, which has a nice fence that you can go into this building right here through. You can go lead into this area, which deals with that counter area on the tractor, but also loops around and gets good vantage points on the other sides of the statue and the tank over here, but also has this area that you can slip back here to avoid line of sight with this house right here to try and catch under. Likewise, the exit from this side, from this house, also cuts you off here, right? So mid-range is like a really good way of sneaking through to try and flank the people in the houses. Speaking of, the roofs of Mid-House right here is a very good vantage point for dealing with people approaching from the far ends up here, and as well as dealing with B-Flag right here. So yeah, top of Mid-Flag is very good. Or yeah, very good. Brown House, Grandma's, we like it. No, this is Brown House. This one's Grandma's. I don't know why we call it Grandma's. Anyway, and then back lot is probably the most open area. There's a gas station here, which is a pretty tight inside area, and a entrance that leads right here. There is a... If you can get to this lane in time, you can jump up here and flank mid-route from here, but rushing that approach is really difficult. But if you know what you're doing, and if you're familiar enough with how people's timings are, you can grenade from about here and chuck a frag to deal with people about when they get here. As for the rest of this area, this is a gas station. There's a gas station over top right here, which connects into this section back here, with a little barn back here, with a exit here, and not on this end, I think it's just back there. With this section of this house, which has a decently sized bottom area with only 2 doors, one right here and another right here, that go into an upstairs area that overviews basically this entire lane, except for the fucking sign that's here, in order to cut off that viewing angle. So most people tend not to be in this spot too often. All in all, I think Standoff is like a great example of a map that's like mostly long range focused, but still feels good for close and mid range. I think long range is like the go-to for this map, but close and mid still has really good spots and flank routes on this map. Standoff is really good. Up next, Studio! Studio is a remake of Firing Range from Black Ops 1, and I think it's my favorite of the remakes, the favorite version of this. I love the abandoned movie studio with just a bunch of movie set pieces that are everywhere, instead of the firing range stuff. Like, there's aliens back here, the other one has like dinosaurs, the other one is a kaiju set. The back of one of the spawns is like a fucking tentacle monster. I love it so much. There's a megalodon in the back there too. I think it's safe to say I really enjoy this map's visuals. As for the map layout, it is basically identical to as it was in Black Ops 1. One team spawns here, the other team spawns here. This is the back lot with the megalodon that leads into this section with the kaiju stuff that walks into the back room area, which is now a western area. So there's a big old western saloon here with some viewable spots and some windows that you can chuck grenades into and out of. One of the flags is right here. The other one of the flags is over here, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Is it right here? Yeah, I think it was here, here, and then here. Yeah. Yeah, stick with the lane. This leads into this back lot with the alien section that we can see right here. That's what this part is, this back lot right here. You have this big old double-decker trailer, or not double-decker trailer, but trailer that you can walk in from this angle with a few windows that overwatch mid, that you can exit out of this area. Likewise, there are some spots right here and here to try and counter-engage people coming out of this end, or try and deal with people who are in the trailer here. Walking in the back here, there's some good spots, but these spots are penetrable, so do be careful. Walking back here, you can see these cars. This is normally where one of the flags is, and this back lot, like restroom, that can clean connect right into the back here with this really big open parking lot, which is pretty funny. How open the parking lot is. On to top lane. Top lane is this jungle dinosaur section. There's a like awning thingamabob here with some vending machines underneath it that you can jump on top of by going into the cardboard structure. You can climb up. There's an upstairs area right here in this section right here. You can walk in from this side, and there's a window overwatching here, which makes it one of the best spots for dealing with the people who are in the trailer. Or you can go upstairs in order to get the upstairs advantage on the area right here, because this is a good spot for dealing with the people who are maybe counter-poking you at Saloon, and you know, you can try and fight it out with the people at Saloon. Likewise, this section has the ladder that goes up to the highest point on the map, which is a really good overview. But if you're good enough, it is pretty easy to chuck a nade and, you know, get people out of that position. So bring your trophy systems. But yeah, if you don't already control B flag, it is pretty risky to try and engage and knock someone off of that position. But of course, that person in that position is really good at dealing with the person who's at the top of this wood structure here. They're really good at dealing with a lot of the people who are at the trailer, and dealing with the people who are at the top of the not the saloon. This is a separate section of the western map. Which has its own 2 windows that watch this angle and this angle right here. One of which you can walk down and overview this mid area. You can step on top of this wooden structure right here and get people there. Likewise, there's a nice little section right here and right here that you can walk up, but you can't go fully up the tower from that end, so keep that in mind. It makes it a really good area to approach and try and grenade upwards to get people off the very top. So yeah, this mid area right here has a walkthrough where you can walk out and go this way. That leads into this back lot, which leads into this section, and it can lead into this section right here, as well as this section, which has a clear view, like clear half circle. Again, this is these 2 spots are like very key nade spots to catch people off of timing and, you know, secure a kill really early. This building right here, there's a window where you can, I believe, jump up, and then there's a ladder where you can walk up that provides overview to the respective zones. All in all, Firing Range is a very solid map. Like, it's kind of hard to hate Firing Range. I think this version is fantastic. Like, this map is fantastic because it's a bit, like, abnormal in the sense that the lanes are there and are well-defined and good, but there's also, like, a really important key power position in the middle of the map that, like, a lot of people fight for pretty much the entire map. Ice. So yeah, Firing Range is really good. Like, Firing Range is a map you're always excited to see. Up next, or in this case, Studio. Take Off! As you can see, we are at a rocket launch facility. If I remember correctly, this is a remake of a map from World at War. Give me a very quick moment as I go look that up. This is a remake of... Oh no! It's a remake of Stadium from Black Ops 1. Speaking of, colors, visuals, very nice. A very nice rocket station in the middle of the ocean. Very nice and serene. The color is beautiful. I love this map's color design. It's very nice and striking. But again, it's not messy. It's very clean. Here is the layout. Here is the aforementioned stadium. What is now the rocket test facility, which is pretty cool. The lanes are, this one's like really interconnected, to be quite honest. One team spawns, I believe it was either here or here. The other team spawns here. There is this lane with this entire indoor area. This is the stadium-est part of the stadium. This whole section right here is wide open. Most people tend to go on the inner section because there's more cover, as well as an upstairs section that leads onto these scaffoldings that overview mid right here. B flag being right here. God, Sonic music is fantastic. Is it weird that I like this version more than the second version? It seems like people like the Act 2 one more than the Act 1 one, but I like the Act 1 a lot more. It's a lot more active and energetic, which I feel fits Sonic more. I just don't like the Act 2 theme, but I think the Act 1 theme is like, makes you move, you know? And I want my Sonic music to make me move. Anyway. Back over here. There are a couple of entry and exit points on the bottom areas, and a little bit, right about here and here, but not onto the awning. If you want to go onto the awning, you need to go all the way up to the top. and then jump out of one of the windows. But be careful with that, because this section from this building right here has a very, very clear vantage point and like advantage over awning, but not middle, because of the big structure in the middle. So they have a bit of a problem getting directly people walking down middle. But people can like flank around this middle area to still get people off in this position pretty well. Especially if you decide to go in the top lane building right here, which has its own upstairs section that really doesn't really get that much use, but provides a very good flank routes in the middle, especially to knock people off of this position right here, which is really solid. As well as this back lot that you can see right here, which is all very nice. A nice way into the inner building right here, as you can see, with its own 2 entrances right here. There's actually 3. There's another way you can get out. Very nice. What else? You saw the 3 tankers that were full of stuff. There's a indoor building here and a mid building here that you can hide out. Hold on. Anyway. Yeah, the bottom lane's access to like middle here is like really funny because there's like a lot of like parts. I think it's easier for this section, for this spawn, just a bit easier for them to flank into the rocket test area and into mid from this bottom section. But I think top has it the opposite way. I think the top section for this spawn right here feeds better into here. Yeah, this overview right here from this area, like I mentioned, is pretty dangerous. It deals with not directly the lines, but people coming off of these flanks and people coming out of awning. There's a lot of mixed sight lines and intricacy in this map's layout. I think Takeoff is pretty good. I think Pod is good. Alrighty, next. Turbine! Let's see, actually, how many maps do we have left? 4. Yep, 2 DLC, 2 base. Alright. Turbine! Turbine, as you might be able to tell, is at a wind farm with a big fallen... wind tunnel, wind generator brain, that has fallen through. Here is the map layout. This one is probably the least 3-lane out of all the maps we've seen so far. There's a general 3-lane structure, but this map has a lot of terrain, a lot of heights. It's surprisingly vertical. Even the bottom and topmost 3 lanes, or the top and bottommost lanes, are rather dense and have a lot of like entry-exit ways. One team spawns here, one team spawns here. Right here is the fallen over wind generator with a connection bridge that goes from these 2 ends. There is an inside building here for management with a bottom and top floor. Top floor having mounted machine guns. There's a mounted machine gun up here as well as over here to deal with the opposing view. You're probably not going to use too often, but they're there. Now, as for the middle, actually, before I mention anything else, the turbine itself, as you can see in this very picture, there are rocks in order to let you go on top of the turbine itself. So you can make a clean cut between the middle lane if you separate the turbines. But as you can see, there's a lot of spattering of like rocks and terrain and different elevations that can cut you off from certain spots just a little better than others. So yeah, Turbine is a really like layered, dense map. It's not as wide open as you would think. It's pretty big. I think overall it's the biggest map in Black Ops 2. It's pretty big, but long range doesn't really have that many positions. Like if you're on top of the turbine, you're pretty vulnerable, but that is a position. And then there's of course the management building over here, and then this like generator building over here. But those buildings have plenty of ways for people to access and cut off and flank. In a bizarre twist, I think this map's problem is not that it doesn't have enough flank routes. I think this map's problem is that it has too many flank routes. I think it's okay. I think the number of flanks and terrain and elevation really makes like traversing that map a pain if people get well situated. But it's hard to get well situated to begin with. Hey, thanks for being well interested in this, Squeaky. So yeah, Turbine's fine. Anything I could say about it? Otherwise, not really. Color's solid. But yeah, Turbine's fine. Up next, 3 left. Uplink. This is a remake of, what's it say, some Black Ops 1. Oh god, I see it in my head. I see it right there. It's the same map, like it's basically the same map, the same layout. Oh god, what is that fucking map's name? This is gonna bother me now, god damn it. Summit. There we go. I am a potato. Yeah. And likewise, here's its design, just like Summit. Now, because this is a remake of Black Ops 1 map, the 3-lane design is not as strong in this one, but that middle building has a lot of interconnectivity to the lanes outside of it, so it honestly doesn't feel as constrictive as you might think. There's the bottom lane on the outside perimeter, along with a, brain is braining. A structure, it's like a brain is braining. I fucking said it earlier when we were on, God, why can't I brain today? Fucking, not trolley, those are on the ground. Trolley, but in the air. Fuck me, I can't, fuck it, you know what I mean. The fucking big thing that people sit in when they're going up and down mountains. Gondola, yeah, we'll use that word, thank you. I need a nap. So yeah, you can run and jump in here. You're probably not gonna do that too often because, like, it's funny. But, like, this building right here has, like, clear vantage point right there. One team spawns here, one team spawns here. B flag smack dab in the middle, about right here. It's not completely symmetrical inside, which is important. There's like a big old generator room, or like file room on the inside, with some files underneath, and then an entryway that leads into top lane. That leads into both ways of top lane. There's one exit here and one exit here. Likewise, there's an entire upstairs area, as you can tell by the staircase right here, that leads to this outside area of top lane that can cover pretty much the entire end of its respective side, which is pretty handy. And with an inner area that can get pretty hectic, that can connect over here. This inner section upstairs right here can look inwards towards B inside the center of the building, which this spawn generally has easier access to, so they get a bit of a power position on B, but it's not so bad because of how wide open the windows are. It's pretty easy to nade people off of that spot. There is a open cargo crate right here to run in and get some cover here. You can climb up this section a little bit, but not too much. There's a building right here that leads into bottom lane. Bottom lane has a few ways down it. You can go down here. Likewise, there's an upper section on this section right above the entryway here that you can climb up from the computers in B flag. You can run and jump right up and be on these upper areas, which is mostly for fun, but it is actually a decent way to look down here into this area, because this is where one of the bombs is in Domination, so it's actually kind of important. But yeah, Summit, overall, is a good map, and Uplink is a decent remake. It is rainy instead of snowy. I like both aesthetics equally. I think both look really nice. I think both are exceptionally well-looking maps. I like Summit. I don't love Summit, but Summit's good. Have 2 left. Up next, Vertigo. This is in a giant skyscraper in India, if I remember correctly. Map aesthetic, really cool, really sleek, really futuristic design, because these people are trying to flex their riches. But I think it works out well. I like the VTOL over there. You can see, honestly, you get a good idea of, like, this. This is a lot of the map. We're looking at, like, 60% of the map right here. Like, the building is, there's a big old inside section to the building that's, like, getting cut off here. This is a really good view. This is a good loading screen image. Here is the actual layout. The VTOL is down here for reference, for you to get an idea. Lanes, I think, are really clearly designed. But, again, plenty of flank routes. Middle lane going straight through the building, which can lead outwards towards this end, outwards towards this end. With glass panels that are protecting you from falling down the middle that can be broken. And approach the other exits from the opposite sides, and the doorway right here, the doorway having a big structure in the middle of it to cut people off and try and juke people while approaching from the middle. There is the connection from mid here into top lane is actually not like walkable. It is a ladder that you must jump and grab, so do be careful. Likewise, getting down there from the top is also relatively difficult and is rather uncommon. You usually approach from inside the building, having its own stairway that leads safely inside if you're trying to approach it, but not necessarily trying to defend it or escape it. Back in middle, there's another clean room here that leads to this exit right here, which is nice and simple, leading onto the opposite spawn. Bottom lane has this building structure right here. You can go inside this, and you can go in this section below it if you wish to avoid this sight line right here, because honestly, this sight line can be pretty gnarly sometimes. This spot right here is climbable. You can climb up this and get a bit of a better vantage point if you're trying to deal with people who are over here or potentially over here, so keep that in mind. Climbing on through, there is a smattering of large building structures and vehicles that you can run across for good cover. An upper elevated section. Can we see that right here? Oh, it's not elevated. It's downwards. My brain. But yeah, a downward section that goes underneath the VTOL section. If you want to like slip under and get people to slip, it's pretty nice. Wide entryway into middle from this section right here, which is very nice. Again, very nice. A lot of very nice. This map is very nice. It's hard to complain about. 2 ways leading into this flag right here, right about here. You can go this way into this section, which leads to a bottom stair. Get there. Which leads into this section right around here. Or you could potentially take the more dangerous direct approach and just like walk up there like a fucking man. Both have their options. This lane's obviously safer and tends to be checked less. This way is more direct and is generally better for close quarters. Top lane has this bottom section right here. You can see right down there. That can lead up and over into this section up here, which leads into the big building, as we were talking about, with a fun, nice little smooth, walkable right around here. You can go outside of the building and walk around it instead. Black Ops 2 has a lot of those, and I wish other Call of Duties would do it more, to be quite honest. This whole section right here, this like big old block right here, doesn't do anything. Ignore it. So yeah, it leads you into this section that we were talking about, where you can potentially jump into B flag, but it's much easier to like nade from up here more than anything. There are some sight lines that you must like deal with right here, but it's not too much of a problem. This part right here is elevated, so it makes it easier to approach this side from here than it does the other way around. And there's a underway that you can walk through to get through on this side if you don't want to approach from the outer angle here. All in all, Vertical is a very nicely designed map. I think this one is also good. And on to our final map, Yemen. Visually, again, I really like it. It's really solid. The buildings have like nice, again, like drained color where you could still tell like what color they were and when they were brand new. The spattering of the signs is really nice. I like this map. Visually, very strong. The ocean as like a backdrop whenever you're on the perimeter is very nice too. As for the actual layout, let's talk about it. So, this map is kind of weird, not gonna lie. This map basically has like 4, 5 lanes, technically. Oh, man, where do I begin? Alright, you spawn here and here. B flag is smack in the middle, right there. Now, the lanes. The most bottom lane, approaching from this side. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. The most bottom lane approaching from this side goes right through here. Going around this house, which if you decide to go in, basically only has overview of this road. And then you now make a decision. Do you go down this side and approach this lane this way, or do you go on the bottom, which is really small and thin, potential long-range engagement there, but really accessible close-range engagement because of your enhanced movement speed, right? So you can go into the building from here. Said building has 2 floors. Again, this floor basically only overlooks this section right here, and then the bottom section to leave, which makes this building right here and the sniping position that this building has really fucking strong for this lane. Like, this building is probably the most important area on the map. Having control of this building shuts off basically everyone from approaching from here, here, and here. There is walkables, so if you're on this building and you decide you want to like convert into mid, you can do that. You can do that from the smaller fabric buildings that are also there as well, which is pretty nice. Back here is a fruit stand for some reason. Like, with impenetrable fruit, they even hide behind and like dupe people, which is pretty silly. This section right here is actually, there's a small ladder you can go up to try and counter poke at the people from the building, but not gonna lie, it's really difficult. Like, the building gives you a much wider array of like targets to deal with, and even good cover of B. Like, again, this building is probably the most important building on the map. Likewise, you can go inside this building and exit from the bottom here, or you can exit from this side, which has a view of its own to B flag here, as well as this building's top area right here. You cannot climb up this top building from the bottom, but you can get, you can like step on the rocks around and down it. There's like a couple of good spots for like walking around and down some stuff on this map. This top section is probably the most open section of the map, aside from Middle Road, but even Middle Road is like windy and has a lot of interconnected spots. This section right here is good for people like counter-engaging from that building right there. You can go into the back lane right here. Again, another smaller lane, a lot less congestion. The building's not there to like bother you. But this structure right here, this building has like a double floor, 2 sets of ladders you can go up, go inside, and approach that way. There's a big old rock here. There's a really weird like window like right here, and I think there's another one. Yeah, inside here, where you can like try and engage people here. It's very funky, not gonna lie. But I think very funky sums it up the best. There's a quick right here to go into B flag. Again, really dangerous, smack dab center of the road. And it's at the bottom of like all the visibility too, so it's pretty easy to approach from here, or from here, or from up here, or from like it's a nightmare. B flag is a nightmare on this map. All in all, I think I don't hate it. Like I think it's fine. It's okay. But yeah, let's see, anything I want to move, potentially. This is not ordered. I never order my fucking tier list, unless I explicitly say so. No, I don't think I want to move anything. I think, honestly, this is, like, really good. Yeah, I like this. Bam! There we go. There we go. There is our map tier list for BO2, the GOAT. Yeah, this is... Yeah, I like this. Yeah, I'm not moving anything. I think it is exactly like this. Again, not ordered. yeah, again, Black Ops 2, the map design is just, again, when it's so well structured that like multiple playstyles are just so accessible, so strong. Like you're never upset. Like Black Ops 2 is like one of those games where you could literally have like a random class generator make a class for you and you can make it work. Genuinely, like the design is phenomenal. Black Ops 2 is great. Just wish it would fucking go on sale on fucking Steam, but Activision still wants like fucking a bajillion dollars and never. Holy hell, like for real. But yeah, my throat hurts. I'm hungry. I'm gonna lay down now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come around for next time. Next time being tomorrow, we will have fun with an art game. Yeah. Black Ops 2 is great. Thank you. Later. Whee!